Xfinity Sports Network.
Caitlin Clark misses a game last night, and we're wondering about her future and the future of the WNBA. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We have plenty more NBA to get to. Giannis with a cryptic tweet yesterday. We've got Dark Horse Super Bowl picks for you. And the Mount Olympus of Maggie and Perloff goes to Chicago today. So we're excited about that. Good morning, Pearl. How are you?
Yeah, I'm going to say don't do any Chicago accents today, Maggie. I'm going to make that executive ruling on a Friday.
Too late.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did it.
I'm not sure.
That was a good one.
I don't know. I mean, listen, my impressions are awful.
It takes one to know one.
Yeah, I just can't. You might have a good Chicago impression. I'm just not sure I want to hear you talk in a Chicago accent.
I've sat next to you doing Cam Smith for like 4 years.
Well, everyone likes an Australian accent. Throw another shrimp on the barbie.
Yeah, exactly. Please tell me more about great accents. Anyway, we will get to Chicago in just a little bit because this one was next to impossible after the first two of who goes on the Mount Olympus, the four sports gods from Chicago, Illinois. Meanwhile, I do want to touch on Caitlin for a second. So we all know that she missed 5 games, Pearl, with a left quad injury already early this season. Fever went 2-3 with her not in the lineup. Last night against the Sparks, she missed with a left groin injury. Now it's day-to-day. What's 2 things? Number one, if you're wondering, Caitlin never missed a game in college and did not miss a game in her rookie season of the WNBA last year. I don't exactly have concrete TV numbers for you, but I have ticket numbers for you if you want to know the difference between a game where Caitlin Clark plays and one where she doesn't play.
Yeah.
And basically, it's like 150% difference on ticket prices when she's in the building versus not in the building. You don't have to be Einstein to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, they're all also, I know TV ratings went down 55%, right?
For the nationally televised games. I saw that the Sports Illustrated USA Today were both reporting that. But I don't know about the local games. I guess what the question is Caitlin being hurt. I don't even know if any of us even contemplated this. But considering how important she is to the league and how, yes, the league has been built on the back of many different stars. But there's no doubt that Caitlin basically gave the entire league a B12 shot right in the butt and took them to a place that we had never seen. Corporate sponsorships, new media deals, the whole deal. If she does struggle with injuries for any amount of time, does it slow any of the progress that's been made by the WNBA?
Of course it does. Do you want an analogy? Do you see what happened to golf when Tiger Woods started getting hurt? Of course, she is the singular star the sport revolves around. We see it in other sports. It was Michael Jordan and LeBron in basketball, Tiger Woods. She's that caliber of athlete. Of course, it's going to have a massive effect on ratings and popularity.
Right.
Is there any doubt about that?
Well, but that's in the short term. I'm curious about the long term. And again, we're not trying to be alarmist here. She's got a groin injury. You know, she's going to live. We know that.
But I think your question is also to how reliant is the sport on Caitlin Clark?
It's the question that we have and that we've been dying to talk about because it's easy to just say yes. Now, here's one bigger thing that I was thinking about with her and the Fever going 2-3 when she's not in the lineup. And she obviously was not feeling good in the last 2 games because she shot 1 for 23 from 3 when she's clearly struggling with some kind of groin injury. I think for the league to continue to see this Caitlin effect, we talk about rivalries. Paige Beckers, they're supposed to play the Dallas Wings on Friday. We'll see if or I guess today? No, in a couple days. We'll see if that happens. But here's the other thing. Doesn't she have to be contending? And don't the Fever and Caitlin have to be championship caliber for this thing to really see its full, I don't know, like bloom, whatever you want to say. Like, I don't know what the end game is. It's to be as big as possible. But she has to be contending for titles, doesn't she?
You know, I would say yes, except she came back from injury and drew a massive viewing, 2.2 million for a Sunday game. I think it was a Sunday game. Saturday game against Liberty, which is a popular team.
And she was great, and she hit 7 threes in that game and then couldn't hit the ocean after that.
So, and she's obviously won nothing in the WNBA, and she's still getting a massive rating now. I am not sure that they need her to win because I feel like it's so funny. I feel like there are some people just root for Caitlin and not even the Fever.
That
Don't
was
you
your
get
Michael
that
Jordan
sense?
theory from the other day, that more people were just rooting for Michael Jordan, didn't matter what city he was in.
Yeah, I mean, well, why wouldn't you? I think, and honestly, I've always kind of rooted for Steph Curry. And more than I guess I rooted for the whole Warriors thing, but I think there is a tendency. Yeah, I don't think they need to win it all. I really think that her stardom is that big. Yes, it would help if she got all the way, but no, to have this wave of popularity continue, I don't think they need to win. Is that crazy?
I think so. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476, because she took Iowa to heights that were, unprecedented for that program, right? To go to the national title game 2 different times, like that's insane for Iowa. This is not UConn, it's not Tennessee, it's not LSU. This is or South Carolina or UCLA, some of the other powerhouse women's programs, Stanford. Notre Dame, I guess I can keep going. This was a really unprecedented thing where I think she actually, despite not winning a title in college, did get associated with winning just to make it all the way to the title game. And now I think in the WNBA, it would have been weird if Jordan never won. It'd be weird if LeBron never won. It would have been weird if Tiger never won. Part of the appeal is not just, you're doing something we've never seen before, but then you got to back it up. Like a Steph Curry came in as the greatest shooter and was hitting all these logo threes, but the Warriors never won a title. I don't know how we'd talk about him. It wouldn't be the same way.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like her popularity is different. I feel like there's a little less ring culture in the WNBA because obviously she doesn't want a single thing and everyone's all about her. Where Jordan, I think Jordan was super popular way before, if we saw the movie
Won in college.
I don't even think that mattered. When he came to the WNBA and the way he was so athletic just captured everyone's imagination. You saw the movie Air, when he went third in the draft and people got to see him on the court, they're like, whoa, what is that? She's got the whoa, what is that thing. And I know you guys don't like this player, but when Zion Williamson came to the NBA, they put 17 of his first 18 games in a prime time because there was a whoa, what is that? He didn't win anything. Yeah. I just think the physical difference. Now, I think your point is eventually that'll wear thin. Just the fact that she's plays from so far beyond the arc, I think that is more attractive than winning right now. Because you get to see something and you watch because you want to see, is she going to try and shoot this over the double team? Which, by the way, she has been doing in these last 2 games. It just hasn't been going in. So I just think her game is so unique, and I think that's understated in this whole argument. It's not because I think that's why she's so popular, and not because of anything else. It's not her looks. It's not her winning. Because Iowa did get this far, but a lot of other teams got far. I think it's her style of play. So that is transcendent more than winning right now.
So what happens when the box office gets stalled, right? So that's the issue because she's day-to-day now with this groin injury. She had a left quad injury. Now it's a left groin. Obviously, there's something going on. You don't have to be a doctor to figure this out, that everything's all connected. And when someone is that box office, got to see her, right? The tickets for a Fever Road game, the average ticket, this is according to Vivid Seats, for a Fever Road game is $311. Right. That's beyond NBA prices, I think, but for her being in the building.
Sadly, no. But
not for the Garden.
Yeah, maybe not for Madison Square Garden. But
try and see the Warriors or the Lakers on the road, and 311 isn't going to get you anything.
Okay, well, that's right there. I mean, we're talking about the WNBA. These are waters that they have not swam in. And it's 168% higher than WNBA games that do not involve the Fever. And the problem is that when she's not playing, that plummets. Down.
I think that's the reality. I think that it's always going to peak with her. I don't think they build off of this. And when she goes away, I'm not sure. Here's the question I think you're saying. Say Caitlin was taken out of the game. Would this have happened anyway? Would the ratings get this high? I think there's just a 15% bump of even what the maximum would have been without her. And unfortunately, I think the WNBA has been having a steady climb, which is great.
Right.
This is a peak, which will probably come down without her. Is that fair to say, or am I overestimating her impact?
I think it's definitely a peak, but the question is, can they keep it going, right? Because it's not like you have this void of talent that's behind her. Paige Beckers just got into the league. Juju Watkins is going to be there eventually, the USC star who's on national commercials right now. So they do have waves of other, or at least 2 massive figures and stars behind her.
Yeah, but no.
No,
Maybe Juju Watkins. I mean, Paige Beckers has been there. Like, did Paige Beckers have any ratings effect like Caitlin Clark? No.
So from what I was doing a little research on this, that I think it's August 1st. So today, it's actually supposed to be tonight that the Fever and Wings are supposed to play. So that's a bummer that Caitlin, I don't want to speculate. I would doubt she's playing this one, right? Day to day. August 1st, I believe, is the next time that the Fever and the Wings are going to play. So Paige Beckers versus Caitlin, that is already the top selling game so far as Vivid Seats was concerned. So one ticket broker, that's already the highest prices they've seen all season for a WNBA game. The August 1st, Caitlin versus Paige.
Yeah. Am I crazy? I don't see Paige having any kind of effect that Caitlin does. And, Paige, let's be honest, a lot of people think Caitlin, part of it is because she's white, right? A white superstar in the WNBA. Paige is a white superstar, and people don't seem to care nearly as much. I think it's style of play because Paige is just an all-around great scorer, right? Yeah. Where Caitlin is Steph Curry. So I don't think Paige, I think Juju Watkins has a better chance of becoming transcendent that if she could get healthy and play well. To me, like, she has a chance because she seems to capture everyone's imagination.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Can the WNBA keep this momentum, this rocket ship that they're on, pointing in the right direction if Caitlin's compromised? EJ, you're a resident WNBA expert around here. What's up?
I mean, I feel like the WNBA, and I always try to say this, no, it wasn't as big as it is now since Caitlin got there, but there had been growth for the WNBA pretty much since the pandemic. Women's basketball overall has seen a lot of growth. The question is, if Caitlin's going to be someone who's going to be in and out of the lineup consistently, can they survive that? Probably not. At least the growth will probably be slower, right? I don't think you're going to see, the huge numbers of Caitlin's in and out of the lineup. But I think women's basketball on the pro level is here to stay. I just think there's way more interest in a lot of these athletes. We're not even talking about someone like Cameron Brink, who's also a super popular player who really hasn't been able to get on the court because she's been injured as well. A lot of these women now that are coming into the league because women's college basketball is so much bigger now are coming in with millions and millions of followers or hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. So I think maybe for the regular sports fan that maybe are accustomed to just watching the big four sports, right? NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB. Maybe we're not going to be as attuned to the people that are going to be invested still in the WNBA. But those people are definitely out there, and they've grown in numbers in the last 3 years.
Yeah, I think also the investment opportunities. It's not just the people are buying season tickets and the corporate sponsorships, but, I mean, from the Tom Brady's of the world and others who have invested in the WNBA, right? He's like an Aces investor. And the fact that they're expanding to all these new markets, like, here's another thing, not to get too into the nitty-gritty of the WNBA, and of course, you're welcome to weigh in. Like, can they keep this momentum going if Caitlin is in and out of the lineup? They have their collective bargaining agreement is set to expire after this season, where it's like 98% of the league is going to be free agents. And the salaries have been ticking up and up so that these women don't have to go to Russia in the offseason or Turkey or something, and play, and their bodies get worn down and all of that.
Oh, the salaries are a joke, too.
It's definitely. Yeah. Like, how much, if Caitlin, let's say, I'm hypothetical here, she's day-to-day, it's a groin again, she's not dying, everything's fine. But say she did miss a significant chunk, she's not going to be in the MVP conversation. Say the Fever, maybe they're a playoff team, but not nearly as interesting, perhaps, without Caitlin there. It doesn't change the salaries moving forward, right? Like, we're not that into Caitlin's day-to-day.
But I think, actually, like, EJ, you kind of avoided the question. Like,
in what way?
About, like, did I say it's a 15% bump from Caitlin Clark? Will that bump go away if Caitlin's hurt or something? Like, you said the casuals will go away. That's who's been coming to this sport, is the casuals. Do you think that they can get the casuals without Caitlin?
I think so. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think I avoided it because I think the answer was no, essentially. I said it's not going to grow as fast as it has.
Got it. Yeah.
But to me, I think what we're missing is there are a section of sports fans, or really maybe non-sports fans, who really aren't part of our circle, so to speak, that are watching these WNBA games that weren't before. And it's because of the growth that has been happening since even before Caitlin Clark. That's, I guess, maybe what I was getting at. Yeah. Like, I think that we're missing the social media following. We're missing those folks who are like, ooh, Angel Reese is like super cool. I'm invested. I want to watch her.
Look at Sophie Cunningham.
Yeah, Sophie Cunningham is now become a big thing too. Like, I think that there's other things that we don't deal with, quite frankly, with male-dominated sports that are factoring into some of these numbers as well. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's a death sentence, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
But why do the numbers fall so much when Caitlin's not there then?
Because she's the biggest star. I mean, I think if the ratings for when like the NBA Finals for them, we just how much we talked about that, where we had teams that nobody quote unquote cared about, and the ratings were lower.
But it's just say she's the biggest star. Every sport has a biggest star by definition. I think that's an understatement of what impact she has. Because if any sport loses, like if Shohei went away from baseball, the ratings would dip 5%. But with WNBA, it feels 20%. I still feel like it's kind of it's hard for me to wrap my head around the full impact she's having. Like everything you say, that sounds like slow, steady growth, which is great. But this is not where the WNBA is right now. It's at a meteoric
when you say
growth.
ratings, though, are you talking about fever games? Or are you talking about?
I'm just thinking overall, just relevance. I think the WNBA has had a meteoric growth in the last 2 years. Maybe I'm wrong.
I agree.
But the meteor will go away, and they'll go back to slow and steady.
Yeah.
But the other thing, too, is ratings are always going to start going down because there's less cable TV, right? So I think the numbers might not stay this high anywhere, which isn't even a bad thing because it's all going to go to streaming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they have their streaming deals. You know, the WNBA was on Amazon before the NFL was, I think. 888 or right around the same time. 888-710-4ISN. Appreciate Drunkle Sam in our chat asking, do women have groins? Yeah. Yeah, we do. We don't have prostates.
That's a great question.
educating the people out here.
By the way, quad injury, her first injury, that sounds like a load management injury. Quad, what is a quad injury?
Your quad is your big muscle right here in your leg.
Yeah, no,
you know that one.
Kawhi's had a lot of quad injuries through the years. Yeah, no, I know when the team is trying to fake it, they say quad injury.
No, quad scares me.
Yeah, no, Triple H.
I'm telling you,
injury.
look at load management, how many quad injuries Kawhi's had.
Well, I think they can't say tendonitis anymore. I think the league said stop saying that one because it's not, I don't know, it sounds so fake. Everyone's got tendonitis if you're an NBA player. You're
100%.
6'8". Yeah, your tendons are a little pulled or whatever. Achy. Anyway, yeah, women have groins. Imagine that. It's a muscle, guys. Well, you've got them. Don't have prostates. We learned that when Perloff asked a couple months ago. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Girl, you got it. Dude, will the WNBA continue this meteoric rise of Caitlin Clark's in and out of the lineup? We've got cryptic tweets from Giannis Antetokounmpo yesterday. We also have our dark horse Super Bowl picks. And the Mount Olympus of Maggie and Perloff moves to Chicago. So much on the table for you. 888-710-4ISN.
There's not like I'm actually thinking about it. There's not like one groin muscle. It's like a series of little muscles, right?
We'll do some research to get back to you.
Yeah, you said groin is a muscle. I'm like, is it? What?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie Perloff Show. So, Manny, I understand this Fallout Boy. Are they from the Windy City?
That is correct. From a suburb in the Windy City, like Pete Wentz. Pete Wentz, the lead singer, also from Chicago.
There you go. So we're doing the Mount Olympus 4 sports gods from Chicago today. The music, we've been playing music. It's impossible to choose a great music artist because you could go back a century and Chicago has been a music capital of the world.
And it's funny how this has become kind of parallel to our 4 sports gods. Then we're also getting the 4 music gods for certain listeners to the show. It's almost as exciting to do the music as it is to do the sports, but we'll get to Chicago just a little bit. Big Easy is in New Orleans, though. We've been asking you this morning whether the WNBA can keep this upward momentum if Caitlin Clark is in and out of the lineup. She missed a game last night with a groin injury. She already missed 5 games with a quad injury. What's up, Big Easy? How are you?
Good morning, Maggie and Perloff, and to everyone that makes the show great. I just want to talk about Caitlin. I feel like the league, the women in the league, would have just embraced the last year and a half of what she can bring off the court, and I think the bargaining would be a whole lot better for them. I don't know, what is it, a year from now?
Yeah, at the end of the season. Yep.
At the end of the season. I understand that they have an issue with her, but if they would have just embraced her for coming in and what she offers, because it's only going to be revenue for them and all the Players Association, and so forth.
Yep.
And if you and just ball out when you're on the court, and just take it to her. If you feel the need that you need to take it to her, you do that on the court, but you embrace what she brings, which is the revenue part, and you could have had the best of both worlds. I truly believe they just haven't appreciated what she's offering off the court. I don't know. That's just my feel on
Big
it.
Easy, it's a funny one because I think a lot of people share that same sentiment. Thanks so much for the call. Good to hear from you, sir. The one thing is that you're almost asking people to really change their stripes, though. So you have these super competitive athletes, and that's something that we hold in highest esteem, right? Athletes being psycho competitors. We're about to do the Mount Olympus today of Chicago sports. Spoiler alert, maybe the most competitive person of all time is clearly on this, and Michael Jordan is, beyond legendary for how competitive he was. So do you want the other women in the WNBA to all of a sudden stop being competitive? Stop.
Yeah,
Became personal with me.
but is it the story that they're especially competitive with Caitlin?
But I guess off the court, why sometimes they don't want to answer questions about her? Do you think that's what this is?
I thought the storyline that they try and beat her up and they've gone over the top with their antipathy towards Caitlin Clark. I haven't seen it, but I read that headline all the time.
Right, but I don't know if they're actually, I guess we could talk about this. Are they really trying to injure her to a point where it takes her out of the game? I don't know, if anyone's really trying to do that. It's the pushing, the shoving, maybe some hard fouls, but I don't think anyone's trying to take out a knee or take out, undercut her and things that are super dangerous. It's some after the whistle stuff.
No, but I do think you said it was competitiveness. I don't think that they have a normal level of competitiveness towards Caitlin Clark like they do toward every other player.
So it's the jealousy part. But how does that manifest, right?
I haven't seen a lot, but I hear that all the time that they've gone after. I did know that push was a little over the top a few weeks ago when there was that brouhaha. But yeah, it does feel like there's something going on there. You don't see that?
No, I do, but how does it hurt the bottom line, right?
No, that's good for the bottom line.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
I don't know if it hurts anyone's bank account if there's a jealousy there.
But I think Big Easy was saying, and a lot of people said, hey, Caitlin's good for the sport. Stop hating. I don't know if it's how much has changed from year one to year two. It's sort of the narrative that's been created when they interview WNBA players. And there was some negativity. It feels like it's died down a lot.
Can I tell you the one thing I think that possibly could have led to literally more money in women's pockets that didn't happen last year as far as Caitlin is concerned? It had nothing to do with any of the players. It was leaving her off the Olympic team. How much you're talking about the halo effect maybe of Caitlin, put her on that Olympic team, and maybe that is the rising tide that could lift other boats of women who are on that team. And that had nothing to do with the players. That was the powers that be at Team USA or Dawn Staley, whoever was picking that team, who left her off.
Yeah, you're right. Come to think of it, that was weird because Olympics are a huge marketing opportunity. The dream team. By the way, has there ever been a sport where more people talk about the sport than watch a sport than Caitlin Clark in the WNBA?
I think the NBA.
Yeah, well, I've seen 1,000 columns launched over that issue of WNBA players disliking Caitlin or something when it feels like small incidents have been blown up into massive deals. Is that a stretch to say? I feel like little things people have jumped on and said, oh, look, they're hating on Caitlin Clark, where it always felt a little bit hyped up by the media. Am I overstating it? It felt there's this narrative out there that everyone's in the WNBA is after Caitlin Clark. Is that reality?
No, it's not. But I think it's funny because we've talked about this. This Caitlin story and the WNBA's rise was reverse engineered. This was not the media that caused this. This is the fans. This is people who were watching Caitlin and loved her are the ones. This is I want to say grassroots. But this is not, the media decided there was this darling and that's what we're going to do because we could have had 15 other WNBA darlings. This was a fan-first initiative.
Right. But if you say so-and-so in the WNBA has an issue with Caitlin Clark, you're going to get 1 million clicks. It's not just the media. People are interested in that dynamic.
I hate to just bring up something that I didn't say, but it's a point that I think can be made. And the guy sitting to my left has talked about this. Caitlin's kind of an irritant too. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
this idea that
Yeah.
Caitlyn goes out there, plays basketball, and just isn't trash talking, isn't doing any gestures. Like this whole thing with Angel and Caitlyn started with her, trash talking and doing
South Carolina
gestures against South Carolina, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we like about her too. I think this idea from some fans that WNBA players are supposed to just like sit there and just take it as Caitlin Clark is trash talking, dancing, doing whatever. Like, look, just because the NBA's gotten soft and Steph Curry can shimmy up and down the court and nobody give a damn, that doesn't mean other people playing basketball are going to take it. And I actually respect some of these WNBA players who are going after her. Like, I'm not saying go after her in a dirty way, and I don't want any dirty play, but the idea that you could be an irritant and nothing's going to happen to you on a basketball court is ridiculous.
She's super confident, and she's not some shy violet, right? She can handle herself out there. There was a chick last night at the WNBA who lost a tooth. It is crazy out there.
It's a tough game.
It's
physical.
carnage, man. And you're right about that. Hey, can we pause, not to take away from the WNBA conversation? How has Steph Curry gotten away with this for all these years? Draymond? He shimmies. He's the petty king. He's doing night-night on South Sudan or whatever, France.
I'm the petty king.
There's too much money. Nobody fights in the NBA anymore. I saw Austin Reaves just turned out a $90 million contract. They're too rich. Why would you fight?
Yeah, I agree with Pearl. There's no. Also, I go a step further. I don't think there's real pride. I think these guys are. Yeah. I think I go back to the Andrew Bynum quote. There's an ATM in every city. Like I don't think that. Oh, okay, you're disrespecting my team and my fans. Whatever. Like I don't think it really. Yeah, I don't think it really offends them. I think they think of it as, oh, this is the job. I'm playing a sport, and okay, we lost. Oh, he's dancing. All right, whatever. And I think they just move on. I don't get it. It's just not. I mean, Pearl knows better than me. He's older than me. Like, I mean, that's not the basketball I grew up watching. But,
the guys were rich then. It was just relative. I mean, they're insanely rich now. I get that.
No. What's going on now is, they're like Jeff Bezos rich. Some of these contracts that are coming out.
Actually, I saw yesterday, I think it was Dick Weiss who tweeted this yesterday, where he said that.
Dick Hoops Weiss?
Yeah. He
has Twitter?
Yeah, he does. Dylan Harper is about to sign, he's second overall pick out of Rutgers, is going to sign a $55 million guaranteed contract like any day now. His dad, Ron Harper, who won 5 NBA titles, was a big part of the Bulls dynasty, made 35 his whole career.
I hate being poor.
But it's not, no one thinks Ron Harper was poor. He wasn't.
But
he's not.
But still, the point is, there are a couple things too. After the Mouse of the Palace, the NBA did sort of suspend a lot of guys. They made the rules a lot tougher after. Was it 2004?
Yeah.
In the 90s, you had to fight every week. Now you're not really allowed. Also, guys are skinny. What is that phrase? Space and pace. So Tyrese Halliburton's not throwing fisticuffs.
Get his dad out there. I don't know. His dad and Giannis almost came to blows.
And to be honest, if I'm really going to go there also, I'll just keep doing it. These are not the kind of players in terms of their upbringings that we had coming up in the 90s and 80s. These are a lot more silver spoon, kind of upper middle class players that are it's a different vibe. It's a different league.
Yeah, I don't know if that's really true. If I look at this year's, there are some guys. VJ Edgecombmeyer was living off a generator for weeks at a time.
I thought Ace Bailey came from a pretty meager upbringing in Chattanooga, right, in Tennessee. But now they're getting paid in college, which is a good thing. They should be getting paid.
But look at the amount of former sons of athletes that are currently in the NBA that are starring in the NBA.
True.
And a lot of these guys who, even if they came from tough upbringings, they had so much more support. From high school.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys are not playing at regular high schools. They're playing at very prestigious academies that are training these guys. It's these guys don't have it cut out the mud the way those guys did in the 90s and 80s.
I'm sure none of us would want to trade upbringings with Malawat.
No, of course not.
South Sudan. There's nothing that's going to be easy about that.
Foreign players, so Eastern European players, I don't think of as fighters, really. They're more finesse players, traditionally.
Yeah, maybe you're right about that. Yeah, Steph Curry has been shimmying forever, and nothing ever happens. And I always thought it was Draymond Green. No one wanted to mess with Draymond. No one wanted to mess with Steph because you'd get psycho Draymond.
I don't get the sense that people want to hit Steph. I don't know. I've never got Steph. First of all, Steph never mixes it up in the middle either. He's always 50 feet from the basket. The new game is way different. I mean, you guys should watch. I think you did this exercise recently. Watch a Knicks Heat game from 1995. It was like a UFC match.
It was also the final score was 72-71.
It's also crazy to just watch how close all the players are. Just because nobody's really extending behind 3-point line. So it's like 8 players that are like within like a 20-foot radius. It's like good luck trying to score in the paint against those guys.
Let's get to Andrew Bogusch, who's got headlines for us. What's up, dude?
Guys, good morning. These headlines sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. I'm told there were more of that noise last night. It was round 2 of the NBA draft. It did happen last night. It included some mini history with Duke guards Sion James and Tyrese Proctor drafted by the Hornets and Cavs respectively, meaning John Shire's entire starting 5 got picked over the last 2 nights. That's apparently happened 2 times before with the 2012 Kentucky Wildcats and 2006 UConn. Round 2 also included Charlotte taking Creighton center Ryan Kalkbrenner and the Sixers using number 35 on Janai Broom. As for those who did not get drafted, guard Caleb Love signing with the Blazers, Kansas big Hunter Dickinson getting a shot with the Pelicans. We had another Achilles injury in sports last night.
0-1. Swinging, he grounds it to short. Lindor charges, throws on the run to first in time with the second out, and Griffin Canning is on his back by the mound. What happened here? White stays at second base on the play. Canning is lifting his left leg off the ground in a 90-degree angle. He's flat on his back. He has put his hand against his head.
It's not exactly Tyrese Halliburton or Jason Tatum, but Griffin Canning was pitching as well as he's ever had. The Mets yet to confirm a torn left Achilles, but you can see it snap as he tries to get off the mound to back up third base on this ground ball. Here's his manager, Carlos Mendoza.
Horrible, sucks. You hate to see it, especially the way he went down right away.
The Mets bullpen tossed 6 1/3 scoreless, allowing just 2 hits, striking out 8. So they beat the Braves 4-0 to split this 4-game series. And since the Phillies lost in Houston in the afternoon, the Mets retake first place in the NL East.
I think it was you, Bogusch, that talked about the negative step.
Yeah.
They got to just stop doing that somehow.
For pitchers?
For everybody. It's this move where you make this hard plant backwards. And it feels like that's all these Achilles injuries are happening with that step.
Yeah, although I think in the NBA, like, those guys are doing it on purpose. This was him trying to change direction to get to his right. So, like, I don't know, like, this was not something he was taught to do. This is just him moving like a human, and then it's just bad luck.
Yeah, it looked a lot like Jason Tatum's injury. Tatum had a kind of similar thing where he stepped backwards to then go forwards, and then it pops. Like, they got to train the athletes. I don't know how. I don't know how you do it, but, like, that is really a tough thing.
He was also on the mound, so like he was on like the level, so like his left heel goes further down than the rest of his leg because he's on the slope of the mound. Oof. It's just he just was in the wrong place.
You shouldn't be
to make that move.
Moving like a human sounds like a dangerous thing.
Yeah,
for a pitcher,
it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, like not funny. It's sad that for pitchers, you're doing the most unnatural thing ever with your arm, and now all of a sudden you're susceptible to more lower leg injuries. Can't catch a break.
I saw Jordan's trainer, Michael Jordan's and Kobe's trainer, Tim Grover, said guys got to start pounding iron, lifting weights again. That's the problem. There's too much band training, and that is the main reason that guys are not getting muscular enough.
Is that Brady's fault?
What's that?
Isn't Tom Brady Mr. Band, Mr. Pliable?
Well, as someone who likes to throw around a lot of weights, I was like, well.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Meet you at the gym.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting take that maybe he said that your body, when you lift a weight, your body gets used to a very unnatural movement and strengthens you. So maybe he's pretty good, Tim Grover. He might be a little passe now, but I remember when his book came out, it's like, wow, that guy's a genius. So maybe he's onto something.
Rays shortstop Wander Franco given a 2-year suspended sentence yesterday for having a relationship with a minor in the Dominican Republic. It's unclear if he'll be able to get a work visa to return to the States. If he can't, Franco will remain on the restricted list where he does not get paid. Meanwhile, the NFL suspending Justin Tucker for 10 weeks after investigating the 16 massage therapists accusing Tucker of sexual misconduct. The Ravens released him back in early May. Don't forget, he is free now to sign with a team. He can also serve this suspension as a free agent, which I kind of don't love.
That's
ridiculous.
Do you have any good news this morning?
The Yankees didn't lose yesterday.
Yeah, they didn't play. All right, keep going.
It's a Friday summer. We started out with Caitlin Clark's groin injury. We found out women have groins. And everyone's getting
an
hurt.
Achilles tear.
Yeah, I think we need. Manny's right, Bogusch. Don't you have a positive story? And don't talk about the Philadelphia Phillies because they stink.
Yeah, I already mentioned
Did they
that.
score?
They did score.
Oh, hey.
And they did set some kind of mark where they're the first team in, I don't know, decades to allow 5 runs or less and get swept in a series because they lost 1-0, 2-0, and 2-1. I like that.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, that's
good.
Again,
pitching,
that's not good
pitching.
news.
But that's in the eye of the beholder.
That's phenomenal. Pearl, that's phenomenal pitching.
At
That's
least
what that
that's
is.
debatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wander Franco. There's nothing fun about that story.
I got your good news here. The Pac-12 is almost whole again because
God.
There we go.
Texas State is reportedly close to
Meaningful
joining
pause
the
there.
league. There's a Board of Regents meeting on Monday to accept the, quote, invitation. Yes, they are the Bobcats.
Damn right.
And they would give the rebuilt conference the required 8 football members to be a real league.
All right, Gonzaga, let's go.
Well, they're the only
Pac-12.
non-football.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back, baby.
Can't wait for the Zags and the Bobcats in men's basketball.
That's gonna be
Listen,
two
it's
easy
better
dubs.
than, Georgia Tech versus Stanford. I'm all about the Pac-12 coming back or whatever they're going to
You're
call
not
it.
thinking
God.
UNC against Cal?
The Pac-12 was awful before. I mean, it was the most poorly run conference in the history of college sports.
Well, I mean, now you got Boise State. How about, can I interest you in a little Boise? Washington State, obviously we know Oregon State's still there.
The Beavers.
Guys, this is good news.
It's 4 good schools and some whack and leftovers and schools that didn't play Division I football until 18 months ago.
Well, all you
It's
need
a
is
weird
chance.
cliff that falls off of after Team 6.
I'm curious because we got a huge audience on the West Coast if this is being received as hooray,
There's
the
never,
Conference of Champions. But
There's never been conference realignment that was met with hooray in any possible way.
except by the rich people who are running it.
There's what level of greed is there? Who knows?
Well, this is survival, although you have to rob other conferences now.
Can't wait for Texas State against Oregon State, 11 p.m. kickoff on Fox.
Texas State sounds like a school from a sports movie.
Yeah, with that movie where Kathy Ireland was a kicker. Yeah,
Texas State.
Yeah.
Was it called Texas
It might
State?
as well have been.
Now, Texas State sounds like a school from a movie where some bad stuff goes down.
Did Bobby Boucher play against Texas State?
Boosters, steroids,
Right.
It's, like
It's a
a
tractor
program
on Jimmy's lawn.
where
Yeah.
every single thing happens.
So that's what opening up a can of whoop-ass feels like.
Point shaving,
Nick
just
Nolte's the
everything
coach.
happens.
It was necessary roughness was
Yeah.
Texas State.
Oh my God! It's amazing.
1991 American sports comedy. Of
Scott
course, there's Scott
Bakula?
Bakula,
Yeah.
Hector
Sinbad?
Elizondo. Sinbad is a receiver.
Sinbad.
He was
my
like
gosh.
38.
Oh, my goodness.
Jason Bateman was a kicker. Remember that?
Yeah.
But no. Jason Bateman played. Kathy Ireland was the
Was
only
the
thing I
kicker.
remember.
Yeah, that's all any man
No, I
remembers.
remember too much about that movie. I gave you Sinbad.
Yeah, Sinbad was a big deal back then.
Was she a bigger deal? Was he a bigger deal? Excuse me, than Kathy Ireland though. I feel
No.
like she was really talk about Mount Olympus.
Yeah, she's definitely
Supermodels
on
from
there.
the '90s. She was definitely there.
Sinbad from Good Burger?
Yes, he was in Good Burger.
But not Shazam.
No, he wasn't.
No, he was not in Shazam.
All of our
Shazam-
memories are wrong about that.
Shazam is the app that you use when you try to find new music. All right, Bogues? Stop trying to
Thanks.
play me.
Thanks, Boomer.
Coming up,
There's actually been 3 Shazams in the last 5 years, by the way, whatever. You guys
let's get
know
to
nothing.
Giannis in just a moment, because the possibility that he's leaving Milwaukee, not dead yet.
888-Antetokounmpo.
888-710-4ISN.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Honoring Chicago today, the Mount Olympus and Maggie and Perloff moves to Chicago are the four sports gods, but Manny was really into this. Manny, who had never heard of Aerosmith until 2 weeks ago, suddenly this is your favorite song.
Hey, man, a Saturday in the park on the 4th of July, pretty much what we're going to have next week.
I know, coming up.
I always find this, okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
little classic rock. So that's the band Chicago,
Yeah,
right?
Correct.
But in the 80s, didn't they had a singer named Peter Cetera who did like all these dramatic Karate Kid type songs, right? Like, didn't he do the theme for Karate Kid?
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, we got to get some more 80s Chicago. I'm sure there are some older listeners who know all about Chicago. Do you remember Peter Cetera, Manny?
I can't. I'm sorry. No.
Well, see, Manny just knows Saturday in the Park. He doesn't actually know the band Chicago. Am I right about that?
Yeah, all I know about Chicago is that it's cold, windy, and the Bears play there.
And now they've got a hit TV show about the bear, which I still need to watch.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah, Glory of Love by Peter Cetera. That's a jam, Manny. You got to get into that.
One more time, please.
Glory of Love from Karate Kid 2.
And I get clowned for my love of sequels.
Yeah. No, Karate Kid 2 when Ralph Macchio goes to Japan.
Yeah, you had to go to Japan. There was no other way.
Yeah, you had to do it. Exactly. Actually, I don't remember anything about that movie. I know they had the little things where you basically, it's a Japanese instrument where you twist it in your hands.
They're coming out with another Karate Kid.
Yeah,
in which,
I know.
Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan are in it.
Yep.
Wait, they're rebooting? Didn't they reboot into a TV show?
Yeah,
that got really popular.
They're rebooting, using the TV show to have this other thing with Jackie Chan trained with Mr. Miyagi. Jackie Chan's character.
Yeah. Okay.
It's going to be average.
I was going to say, what adjective are you going to use there? Well, good for them.
Ralph. Good for Ralph and Jackie.
You don't think, I mean, listen, that's all they do now. I can't believe you guys are more disappointed in the fact that they're doing another Jurassic Park. Like, the tagline is, hey, we have even more weird dinosaurs. Like, there's nothing to explore in any of these movies.
You know, I think, to be honest, we're just like, it's like old man waving fist at cloud at this point about reboots and remakes. Like, we're powerless. Hollywood has no good ideas anymore.
Yeah.
Everything's a reboot, a sequel. I blame a little of my generation, the older millennials, because apparently we're so into nostalgia, and we are this nostalgia bomb type of generation that we can't see out anything else. I didn't think we were like that, but
I've been saying this for years.
I guess we are, as like the older millennials, but
but you guys aren't even
new.
in the demo anymore. Like, why does Gen Z care about another Jurassic Park?
Because you guys are in power.
I was going to say, or I don't know, they think we've got some like income to burn. But I always thought it's about the young people, right? It's about the youngest possible people.
I don't know. It feels like we're soon at a point where AI is going to be writing all the scripts and it's just going to be some regurgitation of other movies.
I think we're there.
Yeah, it feels that way.
Although Karate Kid, that's something you can share with your kids, right? Isn't that supposed to be like the parents saw it and then you pass it down?
No.
I can kind of understand that.
Manny, what's something that your parents watch that they want to make sure you watch?
It's Spanish-speaking television. El Chavo del Ocho. I mean, there's a little bit of a disconnect right here when it comes to our cultures.
Can't have a reboot of that?
No movies?
No, not particularly. No movies. They wanted us to watch Under the Same Lune, Debajo la Misma Luna, which is a Mexican movie. But I mean, that was a movie that came out in 2006. It's not a movie that came out in 1986. Yeah, exactly. So
right.
I mean,
what about Star Wars? Your parents not big Star Wars people?
No.
Okay. I mean, I
What's the one movie, Maggie, that you want to show your kids? Is there anything?
Spaceballs.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's going to ever understand it.
You should have your kid watch 21 Jump Street. I heard that's very good for the 6-year-olds.
Maybe I'll have him watch that.
Yeah, I want to show my kids 16 Candles, and about 15 minutes in, I'm like, we're not watching this anymore.
My bad.
Oh, my God, the 80s. Not good.
No, the stuff doesn't hold up.
Yeah,
I'm going
to
be honest.
Want the nostalgia from the 80s.
I know. You want to be honest, though, as a parent, the things I thought that were going to be easy to pass down were going to be some of the Disney things. Like, you think, oh, Disney. Some of that stuff is weird, though.
Cars.
Like what do you mean?
I love Cars.
Well, some of it's just a little bit, well, not just that it's odd, but a lot of the parent characters die.
You're a little bit too
old.
Yeah, that's a
Disney,
Disney paradigm.
Yeah, exactly.
Bambi's mom.
Bambi, Mufasa.
Yeah, that's what they always do.
It's super upsetting for 5-year-olds.
Yeah, it's a hero's journey. Joseph Campbell.
Yeah, well, anyway. Like,
tell your kid to man up. What the heck?
Rub some icy hot on it, man. Man up.
Get a little grit. It's crying in the corner. 888-710-4ISN. All right, we'll get to Giannis. We'll get to the Lakers and our Mount Olympus, the 4 sports gods from Chicago, Illinois.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
The Mount Olympus of Maggie and Perloff, the 4 sports gods from every great sports city in this country and parts of Canada, been a smashing success, Pearl. And today was going to be the final day where we're focusing on the city of Chicago, Illinois, but it became such a popular thing that we were doing. We're actually expanding it out into next week with some more cities that people have clamored for us to tackle. But again, Chicago is center stage. Manny, can we hit the music, please, sir?
It's time to feast your ears on Maggie and Perloff's Mount Olympus.
All right, we're getting right into it. Chicago, this one was very tough. The first 2 are easy, and then it's anyone's guess how you fill in the second 2. Would you like to go first?
Sure. Okay. So the first 2 being easy, I think you mean Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Listen, we're going to read that guy's resume. Watch The Last Dance.
Who?
And you understand, yeah. It's not Washington Wizards, Michael Jordan. The Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan. Redefined sports, redefined what Chicago Bulls basketball meant. The Bulls were nothing before Jordan. They were like the Washington Wizards. They were a persona non grata in the NBA. He turned them into a cornerstone franchise of the league. My second one, obviously, I think you mean the other obvious one being Sweetness, Walter Payton.
Absolutely.
Walter Payton, all-time great running back. Anybody who has a list of the best running backs in NFL history and doesn't have him in the top 3, probably making a mistake. A combination of speed, toughness. He threw touchdown passes all the time. He is a defining part of Chicago sports. Okay, those 2 are off. Now it gets tricky.
Yep.
When you think, Maggie, of the Chicago Bears of yesteryear, what's the one face that jumps to mind? Of yesteryear. Not the 80s, not the 90s, not Jay Cutler, not Rex Grossman.
Devin Hester.
Not Devin Hester. I'm talking yesteryear.
Not Brian Urlacher.
Not Brian Urlacher. Yesteryear, steam coming out of his mouth, an intense look on his face. He's not just going to tackle you. He's going to chase you into the parking lot and tackle you again so he can embarrass you in front of your family. I'm talking about Iron Mike Ditka. Yeah, that's all I got. But Mike Ditka, one of the greatest linebackers of all time. And really, to me, the definite... Oh, God. Dick Butkus. I did the setup so well there.
That was amazing.
I have Mike Ditka's resume right here in front of me. Oh, my God.
I'm looking at EJ like, what's going on?
Dick Butkus. Yeah, I described Dick Butkus.
Yeah. I'm like, Perloff said he was definitely doing Dick Butkus. Why is he changing it now on the fly? Do you want to change it?
He said tackles. I knew he's talking about Dick Butkus.
No, I was doing Dick Butkus. I was doing the face and the...
Tight ends can
Mike Ditka didn't have steam coming out of his mouth. He was too busy running routes.
He wasn't
Dick Butkus was killing people. Darn
Probably
it.
had steam coming out of his mouth when he was coaching.
I thought you were setting up Lance Briggs.
Manny, do you remember Dick Butkus playing?
No.
Does Manny remember Lance Briggs?
Okay, so he's five-team first-team All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowl, 60s All-Decade team, 70s All-Decade team. That's 2 decades, Maggie. He's one of the greatest interior linebackers ever to play the game. And it's not just that. His physicality was unmatched. The attitude. Like, if you think of attitude, you think of Dick Butkus. You also think of Mike Ditka, by the way, which is very common that I've mistaken. Kind of have the same hair. They have the same barber. Also appeared in a lot of different movies and commercials. Yep. Really fun.
Great personality.
Okay, my 4th spot. This is where it gets really controversial. I ignored sports diversity in this one. I'm sorry to the hockey world. I know the Blackhawks are iconic. I'm sorry to both the Cubs and the White Sox.
Wow.
I mean, win something and then we'll talk.
Oh.
I went back to the Bears.
The Bears.
Gale Sayers is the most spectacular highlight player I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm putting him on Sports God because there was nothing mortal about Gale Sayers. He had a short career that was ruined by injury, but he was one of the most exciting players of the 20th century in the NFL. And again, 5-time first-team All-Pro, which is pretty crazy, 4-time Pro Bowl, 2-time rushing yards leader, but it's not just what he did statistically, it's how he did it. He was lightning. The Kansas Comet is one of the most exciting players. Again, this is for Manny. I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. Look up a highlight reel of this dude if you haven't seen him. He is one of the most incredible athletes ever in the NFL. I call him a god. And I'm sorry I have 2 Bears running backs on here, but I certainly am not putting a Bears quarterback
No, this is the one city where quarterback, well, there's been a couple cities, but definitely famously Chicago. Unless you want to put Jim McMahon, who is such a huge figure.
Yeah, he's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, he showed up at camp with a 12-pack under his arm and had the sunglasses. He's kind of a sports god.
The headband. Well, Walter Payton wore the headband, too.
Yeah, when you think of this level, Mount Olympus, McMahon, to me, wasn't quite good enough a player.
Yeah. I'm actually not going to disagree with you about two Bears running backs. It's Chicago. It's the Windy City. It's not going to be a quarterback. And you do have Dick Butkus there, so the defense is also represented. You have 3 Bears and Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that's the problem. I did not put any of the other sports. I felt bad about that.
Well, I mean, listen, you got 4 gods there. This is very difficult. So my Mount Olympus for Chicago starts the same way that Perloff's does. I think anyone's Mount Olympus would start this way with Michael Jordan and Walter Payton. It's unassailable. I know these are all opinions, but that's just fact. You have to have both of those guys on the Mount Olympus, and then it gets really, really tough. I did go with the other Bear. Thank you for the great setup. You read off Mike Ditka's resume.
No. I was talking about Dick Butkus the whole time.
Yeah, I know. But then you said Ditka, and you were doing Dick Butkus, but then you said Mike Ditka. But Mike Ditka, to me, is on the Mount Olympus. I mean, he's still got to be the most popular Halloween costume in Chicago, and by extension, maybe the U.S. Immortalized on SNL, as Manny's been playing the super fans all morning long. And Ditka as the player for Chicago, but then as the coach.
Yeah.
And there will not be another. We try to do this. The 85 Bears are the most iconic team, right? Like
the single year team.
Yeah. I mean, you could go to we talk about great defenses, 2000 Ravens, maybe the Tampa Bay Bucks. But as far as like a team, I know the Giants pulled off a massive upset in the Super Bowl over the undefeated Patriots. Maybe but
no.
There's nobody going to be as dominant.
Well, I mean, I think the most famous team in NFL history is probably the 70s Steelers, but the single season is the 85 Bears, I would say. Or maybe the 80s Niners, to me, or the 90s Cowboys, but to have 1 year 85 Bears. So would you think more Ditka as a player or the coach for your Mount Olympus, if you had to choose between the two?
Okay, this is probably going to be because of my age. It's definitely the coach.
Definitely. And it's not your age, it's the sweater.
It's probably the sweater, the mustache, the sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
It's a sweater vest.
Yeah. It's definitely the coach.
And we're just going to ignore the Saints part of this is for him as a coach and the terrible trade. But anyway, Chicago, Mount Olympus, Dick has got to be on there. And then if I've learned anything from you guys, not just you, Perloff, but also from the audience as we've been doing this Mount Olympus project for the last couple weeks. If you are Mr. Something, you have to be on this Mount Olympus. So if you're Mr. Cub and you're Ernie Banks, even though you did not play in a playoff game, you have to be on the Mount Olympus. He's Mr. Cub, Mr. Sunshine. What Leo DeRocher said, he's the only time when nice guys finish first. Obviously, Hall of Famer. He's got no postseason resume to speak of at all, but he is a sports god in Chicago, and I put him on my Mount Olympus. Now, what's so odd to me about Chicago, when you really dive in, you've got a curse, right, that plagued Banks and Ryan Sandberg and Ron Santo. You have so many guys who are so amazing who are suffering the curse. Then the curse gets broken. And yet nobody from that team, I don't think, rises to the Mount Olympus. Would have been Anthony Rizzo, would have been Schwarber, who came back in a big way.
Chris Bryant,
was a homegrown, but there was a lot of tension between him and the organization also.
Javi Baez.
Is it Theo Epstein who put the team together? But he's more known for the Red Sox curse, maybe even more than Chicago.
Yeah, I don't think any of those guys really even get that close. I mean, I think, are any of them even top 5 for all-time Cubs?
Well, it's not even their fault, though. Like, the team disbanded and they sold it off, right? Yeah. Basically, they just kind of... they weren't able to stay together nearly as long as they probably should have, considering how historic that team is.
Well, it's funny,
but
too.
I don't know who to put on there. Dave Ross?
Really iconic. Kerry Wood is actually had nothing to do with that team.
No,
he's super iconic. And I always think of him, the prior Wood team, is honestly bigger stars in a sense. Because I think it was just that the Cubs didn't keep those guys. Isn't that ultimately why?
Yeah, I mean, is it Joe Madden? I
mean, they fired him in 2 years.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't know who to pick from this team, even though I feel like they should be represented because of the curse and how they broke it.
Yeah, certainly Ryan Sandberg would be close.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think any of those guys are top 5. I think you put Mark Grace way ahead of all those guys.
It's an interesting thing to do with the Cubs. And then obviously you're completely ignoring the Chicago White Sox, the Pope's favorite.
Paul Konerko.
Well, Frank Thomas. I mean,
Big Hurt.
Yeah.
Oops.
One of the best nicknames, by the way. Talking about nicknames.
No doubt. So what do you, I mean, now that the
Blackjack
Pope
McDowell. That guy had a good nickname, too.
is, now that the Pope's
He's the one who won the World Series, right? Yeah. What was it, 05?
Yep.
05, yep.
I mean, that's a franchise.
Obama. I mean, he's a huge White Sox fan, too.
It feel weird, and if you're from Chicago, call us to put a White Sox over a Cub.
I couldn't do it. And again, I am taking feedback from the audience. I didn't put in Mr. Hockey. I almost got ran off the show.
Bobby Hull, by the way, obviously.
Bobby Hull.
Patrick Kane.
Kane and Taves, but how do you separate Kane from Taves?
Yep.
That's not their fault, but they're right there together. It's like they're mentioned in the same breath.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's recap it. Go ahead, Pearl.
Okay, so I have Michael Jordan, Walter Payton, not Mike Ditka, but Dick Butkus. And I went with Gail Sayers as my wild card.
I also went with Jordan and Walter Payton. I went with Mike Ditka, and I went with Ernie Banks. There you go. EJ, you look disappointed. Is it because Scottie Pippen is not here?
Oh, you read my mind.
I believe me, you think about it, Jordan and Pippen it's not like Taves and Kane, but
Sonic's legend?
There's actually a sidekick mountain where the Scottie Pippen lives.
I just
next to Mount Olympus.
The greatest dynasty of this, maybe of our contemporary lifetime, is the Bulls, and I know we have Michael Jordan, and he deserves a spot. It's so weird. Chicago's a weird city.
It is.
Because, like, as we're mentioning, like, there are a lot of people that we're, like, idolizing that deserve to be idolized. Dick Butkus, Mike Ditka, Gail Sayers. I mean, these are legends of the game. And they're legends in Chicago. Did not win championships as players. Ditka won as a coach, so he gets separate. Just they also icon him as a player, and did not win. Scottie won 6 titles.
I know.
And can't get a sniff. I'm not saying I don't know. I put him on, but I'm like.
So who are you taking off though? You take off Ernie Banks because he didn't win anything? He's Mr. Cub.
I'm kind of looking at Ernie Banks, but if they didn't break the curse, I almost feel like maybe I would put them on. But now that they have broke the curse, I'm like, well, now there are like there's 25 guys or however many that have won championships.
Yeah,
that's not going to get in. You know,
well, what happened actually, EJ, was Zeus, who runs Mount Olympus, called up to Scottie Pippen, and Scottie said, "No, I don't want to come in."
I was thinking about that. Does not going back into the game famously. I mean, he won 6 titles. I'm not gonna. That was one bad moment.
Yeah, we're gonna put Kukoc on there just to get at Scottie.
Tony.
I don't know. Ernie Banks broke the Cubs' color barrier.
How about Ron Harper Jr.?
No question.
Or Ron Harper.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Ron's offspring really.
Phil Jackson.
Ron's wife is actually Ron's ex-wife is now the more popular Harper after the draft these last 2 days.
You could have given Phil Jackson some love here for Chicago, even though with LA too.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Yeah.
That's why I thought it is Phil Jackson, obviously the Bulls, but also it's so split evenly.
Well, the fact that he came up with the Bulls, I think, gives him. I mean, kind of inherited Kobe.
Kind of inherited Jordan.
Yes and no, but he was sort of part of the evolution of that great Bulls team. I would say more so than LA. He arrived in LA and was ready to go.
But the thing is with LA, it was there for the three-peat and then came back and won again. It's like he has. I think LA can claim Phil Jackson as much as anyone.
How much consideration did you guys give Steve Bartman?
So Gods of the Underworld, which we like to do, the flip side of the coin here, would probably, I hate to pile on the guy because he's basically a recluse at this point, and I know it was killing him to be in that infamous moment, but.
If you're doing a Mount Olympus with statues for Gods of the Underworld, you have to have Jay Cutler with his head in his lap in the NFC title game. Do you guys remember that? When
shoes untied.
Wouldn't come back in.
Rex
Grossman toiling away in the rain in Miami.
At least he got to the Super Bowl.
I know, they were winning that game, and he just threw the game away. Peyton Manning didn't even play well. They still got dominated.
Prince is the most memorable thing from that Super Bowl, the halftime show.
Was that 41?
Well, I don't think. Yeah. They did the Bears score an offensive touchdown in that game?
I don't know if they did.
I know Hester returned one.
Yeah, Hester, he started the game with a touchdown, and
that was awesome.
Rex Grossman couldn't do anything with that lead.
Yeah,
By the way,
they were not going to win that game.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, if you're a Bears fan, you probably feel sick. And then also, a guy who may have been on there if not for injuries, Derrick Rose.
Oh, yeah.
Chicago's favorite son. And, the injury happened, and who knows what his career would have been had he not got hurt.
Yeah, but you can't put him on.
No, you can't. You can't. But I know how beloved
the
he
Mount
is
Olympus
still
of what
in Chicago.
Ifs.
Yeah, I just whenever he goes to Chicago, I saw a video of him on the street and like someone like recognized him and they just all started running up on him because he's still a celebrity there.
Definitely blame Thibodeau.
Oh, I'm sure people will. All right. I'm sure they do.
Give him a break. Jeez. 888-710-4ISN.
That sounds familiar.
888-710-4476.
If you want to do it back, I mean, Isaiah Thomas, Chicago is an interesting one. If you ever watch Hoop Dreams, everybody came up worshiping Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, that's against our rules, our unwritten rules of Mount Olympus. If you're a team sport, if you're an athlete in a team sport, we're not counting where you're from. We're counting where you played. If you are an individual athlete, though, golfer, tennis, whatever, boxer, then we'll count your hometown.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like once in a while there's a unique bond between a city and where he's from. And I feel like Isaiah is very much defined by Chicago and with the attitude that he came up with.
And when I think of individual athletes, I know I did Rey Mysterio for wrestling for San Diego. A couple of Chicago, Bobby the Brain Heenan, legendary announcer, and CM Punk.
Oh, I know him.
Yep.
Mr. Go to Sleep.
I thought that was
synonymous with Chicago.
I was looking because I was thinking of Ernie Banks or Bobby Heenan. It was a close call.
Legends.
Two legends. Yeah. Same.
I actually read Bobby Heenan's book, and about half of it was stories about Andre the Giant's gas. I'm dead serious.
Not the gas you put in the car.
No. Andre the Giant, oh boy. You did
never
not
even
want to
thought
eat a
about
meal
that.
with him. You never heard about that? EJ, have you heard about that? It's
no,
famous.
It's
all over the Vince McMahon doc, too.
Wait. Did he have a legendary gastrointestinal problem, or he's just so big his farts were that big?
Yes.
So I thought he liked to drink a lot, right? That was the thing.
Yes.
Drink a lot of red wine.
Oh, right. That might have been in the Bill Simmons documentary on Andre the Giant. But Bobby Heenan, half his book is telling you incredible stories about Andre the Giant clearing out rooms.
I mean, that's like a party trick at that point, right? Don't you have to dare him to do it? Like, that'd be so fun. It's like pulling a fire alarm.
Andre the Giant's like Will Chamberlain. You can tell me anything about him, and I believe it.
Same. Yeah, Tyson,
same thing. Yeah, there's some athletes that are just like, whatever you say. Bo Jackson, another one. Whatever you say, I believe.
Dennis Rodman.
Another one.
Right there.
Definitely.
The Mount Olympus of guys, you'll believe anything you hear about them.
Where did Dennis Rodman come in your...
For Chicago?
For Chicago.
I mean,
it was only there for 3 of the 6.
Yeah, I mean, you got to split. You put up Horace Grant and Dennis Rodman together. Maybe. I don't know. No,
Dennis Rodman's almost like similar to like some of these other players we talked about for a singular athlete. He's almost like a god of like just sports. Think about it, like, because Detroit, and you think about just celebrity, like he's just like, I don't know, I don't run to Chicago when I think of him. I think of just like Dennis Rodman as an entity.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Wrestling,
across the cities.
Bad Boys Pistons, the Bulls run.
Who could forget his time at
Carmen Electra.
Yeah. Marrying himself, Madonna.
Yeah, Madonna.
I always say, talk about reading books. You read the one about Bobby the Brain Heenan. I read Dennis Rodman's autobiography, and I was way too young to be reading something like that. My parents were like, I was like, can I get this? It's like, yeah, it's a sports book. It's not.
I want to be clear. It wasn't about Bobby the Brain Heenan. It was by Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yeah, this one's same.
Yeah. How about that guy, the guy with curly hair who was in the Bulls locker room in The Last Dance?
Oh, the Shrug security guard?
Yeah. And we're doing...
Who beat Michael Jordan at quarters?
Mount Olympus of memes. The Shrug security guard. Could he be on there?
What's his name? I don't even remember his name.
Nobody knows his name. There's a Saturday Night Live sketch about him.
Yes, I've seen it where Heidi Gardner plays him and Michael Jordan ends up taking all of his clothes off and everything. It's silly, but fun.
John Michael Wozniak.
Yeah. God, these big sports cities are too hard. Almost too hard. We need a bigger Mount Olympus for Chicago.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. What did we get right? What did we get wrong about the 4 sports gods from Chicago? Coming up, Giannis still on the block? Got details for you next.
The Bears.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Oh, here we go. So we're doing Chicago, Mount Olympus A, 4 sports gods from Chicago. Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. This is Earth, Wind, and Fire, and they are from Chicago. Did not know that necessarily, but this is the ultimate. And it doesn't matter what the event is. Did they play this
at your wedding?
Of course.
Yeah, mine too.
My wedding was in September. It was required.
Was it the 21st?
No, but this is obviously a great song.
Side note, you got married during football season? Crazy.
Yeah, it was a Saturday of football season. It was that crazy? Yeah, I guess
That's a big no-no for college football fans.
Oh,
People will cut off friendships for that. But September is, You're still pretty good.
I was
You're
in
the
Boston. Trust me, nobody needed to go see the BC game. I got married in Boston. Yeah, there was no concerns there. All right, we're doing Chicago. I went with Michael Jordan, Walter Payton, Gail Sayers, and Dick Butkus.
Yeah, for my Mount Olympus, the 4 sports gods from Chicago, Michael Jordan and Walter Payton, no doubt. Mike Ditka and Ernie Banks round out my Mount Olympus. You guys not happy that we left off a certain huge figure in Chicago. PJ's in Atlanta, wants to tell us about what's up, champ?
Yeah, Papa Bear, man. He's actually played for the Yankees for about a month and a half, so Annie will be happy. But yeah, founder of the NFL. Yeah, you got to put Papa Bear on there, dude. And Sexy Rexy did throw a TD to Mushin Muhammad in the first half of that loss.
I looked it up. Yeah,
20 for 28. So, but yeah, you got to put Papa Bear. I don't know who you take off. Maybe he's at the scorers table waiting to get in on Mount Olympus. But yeah, you got to put Papa Bear in there.
Yeah, George Halas. Thank you so much, PJ. You're right. I mean, one of the founding members of the NFL, George Halas, is the biggest figure maybe in Chicago. We put more athletes on our list this time.
Yeah, I mean, a bit old school for most of our list. We're going back. What year did George Halas
died
form
the year I was born.
George Halas lived that long?
He died in October. According to the internet, he died October 31st, 1983.
What year did he form the Bears? 1921?
Oh, you're asking me to do that on the fly.
That's what you got me for.
Yeah. EJ, go ahead.
So, but that was a long time ago. That was over a century ago now. So I feel like we're okay.
Are we, though?
I don't know. We didn't put it on Shoeless Joe Jackson. He easily could be on this list.
We also didn't put on Curly Lambeau, but we put on Vince Lombardi. I mean, when you're going back so far, it can be, you got to choose.
Shoeless Joe would have been a good infamy one.
Yeah.
But also you could have, now I think the legacy has changed with Shoeless Joe Jackson. I think people now respect him. He could have been on this list.
He just got into the Hall, right? With Pete Rose.
Yeah, I actually looked at him on this list. But the infamy one is fun for Chicago, too. You mentioned Steve Bartman.
Bartman would be the infamy. I mean, obviously Shoeless Joe and just the Black Sox scandal.
Jay Cutler, just for fun.
George talked about why he moved the team from the Hammond All-Stars to the Decatur Staleys. That was in 1921. They later became the Bears, and he was the owner from 1921 to 1983.
Whoa. It's a good run.
A very long run.
Had trouble finding a quarterback after Sid Luckman.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, Luckman would have been the most obvious one. No offense to Sexy Rexy, who I didn't even know that we were doing Sexy Rexy for him and Rex Ryan.
Yeah, he was. I forgot he was Sexy Rexy.
He's the original Sexy
Rex
Rexy?
Ryan was Sexy Rexy? Actually,
Well, once we found out about the foot fetish.
Well,
I didn't call him Sexy Rexy.
Yeah, no. In Hard Knocks, there's a famous scene where he comes out of the tunnel and they're chanting Sexy Rexy, and Rex is like, you're a sexy MFer when they're chanting Sexy Rexy from these guys in the back. No, Rex, he's the guy.
Yeah, then we found out a little too much about Rex.
A little bit.
Yeah, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476, the Mount Olympus for Chicago. Bogusch, do you have a major issue with anyone we have on or left off today?
No, I don't think so. No, not a major issue.
Okay. A little later in the show, I do want to acknowledge all the people who emailed us at maggieandperloff@gmail.com to weigh in on all these different cities. I know the email's backed up a little bit, but I'll read some of them later from some of our fans who wanted to, maybe a little shy, don't want to call. A couple of them not in the chat, so you can always email us as well. Again, maggieandperloff@gmail.com. And appreciate Kevin in San Antonio, who's been sending us a picture of his breakfast every morning. He's now moved on to baked goods.
Oh.
So, Kevin, if you're listening, the lemon cake looked delicious.
Oh, look at that.
And his vacation to Flagstaff. So, we've evolved from breakfast.
And you got my burner email, right, about Johnny U from yesterday?
That's you?
Yeah.
It's funny, you called yourself Rick.
Yeah.
Likely story. Rick
Bogusch.
I don't want to say people's last names, but now we know Bogusch is also Rick, who wanted to light me up about Johnny Unitas.
Watch your step.
That's a great fake name, Rick.
Might as well go Dickie Lovelady if you're going to go Rick. Richard, Rick, Dickie. Yeah. Bogusch. No problems with our Mount Olympus today.
Not on this level. Not on a Johnny U front.
You're not going to go bat for Paul Konerko being on this
I'm
list?
not.
Come
I'm
on,
not.
man.
I'm not.
Come on.
Frank Thomas, no?
I think Frank Thomas is
Legit.
a legit person, yes.
OCEN.
No.
We also could have played that commercial. It's Frank Thomas. Yeah, that would have been fun.
Oh, about the
testosterone supplement.
Him and Doug
my
Flutie.
gosh, yeah. When the guy's
same
wife,
body right there. Doug Flutie, Frank Thomas.
the guy's wife is like, "Oh my God, Frank Thomas," and this
like,
was awkward commercial of all time.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ever since I turned 40, I'm just not feeling as
Is that right, guys?
but the missus, she says I have more energy than ever.
But no,
Hey,
no.
is that Frank Thomas? What does that mean? The missus has suddenly run away with Frank Thomas,
Mr.
and I'm
Big
never going to
Hurt,
see her
what does that
again.
mean?
No. Yeah, the wife is like, "Oh my God, it's Frank Thomas. He's got so much testosterone."
As opposed to you wimp.
I don't know. I don't know if any of that stuff. Listen, they might want to be a sponsor of the show at some point. In which case,
Nugenics? Yeah.
Shout out
Unfortunately, you're
Nugenics.
not getting in on that one, Maggie. That's
I'm gonna
Need a
step
prostate
away.
for that one.
Walk away. I did get an offer to read, not for Nugenics, but for a different company that I won't name. I did get an offer to read ads for them.
Is it like a little,
I'm not saying
enhancer
who it was.
type of? No.
Wait,
was it
wait,
like a
wait,
little
wait.
enhancer type thing?
Yes.
Interesting.
Wait, a what thing?
I got an offer to read some ads for, I'm not going to say who it is, but for a sponsor for those kind of pills.
But for men.
Yeah, for men.
You were going to read it?
I was going to read it.
Thank God my husband
actually,
takes
that's
it.
fine.
No, but that's what I was like, I can't.
That makes a lot of sense.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But then I was afraid about the implication because, I didn't want to be like, well, Maggie's, relationship's on ice. Like, I don't have any issues. So I said no.
Well, no, it's not saying your relationship is on ice. It's just saying your husband needs help. When you
Yeah, he doesn't though. See, this is why I didn't do it. And now I'm sorry I brought it up right now.
yeah. I mean, listen,
What just happened?
I probably shouldn't have mentioned that, but I appreciate the offer, I guess.
Is that Frank Thomas?
Is that going to turn to Maggie's husband?
No, it's Andy, last name redacted.
Yes, we're not saying. Bogues, headline, save me.
Quick trivia question, guys. Anybody know why there were only 29 picks in the second round of the NBA draft last night?
They know. These guys
Yeah.
do. The other side of the glass.
I have no idea.
The Knicks didn't have a second round pick last night because of the Jalen Brunson tampering that they were found guilty of.
They did have a second round pick, if we're being exact.
But it wasn't theirs.
Yeah, it wasn't theirs, but
Right.
they did have one.
Yeah.
Don't spread misinformation.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Incomplete information.
There
They did
you
not
go.
have their guaranteed, betrothed second round pick.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes. But it worked out. The tampering.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're okay.
I'll do it again.
Yeah. I'll do it again, too.
So 29 picks last night, 30 the night before. Plenty of good players did not hear their name called over the last 2 days in Brooklyn. So those guys looking for contracts. The Lakers signing North Carolina guard R.J. Davis and Villanova scorer Eric Dixon. Alabama guard Mark Sears goes to the Bucks. Teammate Grant Nelson can stay in Brooklyn as he signs with the Nets.
There are some guys that left early that didn't get drafted. I'm thinking about R.J. Lewis from
Yeah.
St. John's.
Yeah.
And I think these guys are going to have to start making the calculus that some of these college football players are making. You can't pass up millions of dollars and then go undrafted.
I think Rick Pitino really hurt R.J. Lewis.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did, and that didn't help him. But he still was in the transfer portal. He had an opportunity to still go somewhere else. Somewhere he was going to pay him, even though Rick blew him up. And then instead he stayed in the NBA, and he might have been getting bad advice. I think that person probably should be unemployed today.
Yeah.
But now you're talking about a guy who's going to have, he probably lost at least $1 million last night.
And a guy that was he was never even a first round projection
Exactly.
either. It's not like what happened, how did he fall out? This was always a very reasonable outcome for him to not get picked, and he still stayed in the draft.
Yeah, it was just a blunder.
I guess it's like betting on yourself. Can you respect that a little bit? I mean, he's still going to get an opportunity. Did he sign somewhere? I'm sorry. Did you say that?
I didn't mention him, but he did sign.
He did sign somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure he will,
I think he
right?
went to Utah. I think.
Yes,
so he'll
the
go to the
Jazz.
G League, and then listen. The odds are long to get. We love the great stories about the two-way contracts and stuff, but the odds are going to be stacked against him. I didn't like how Rick Pitino handled that. He should have put him back in the game.
I found funny last night. They were saying on the broadcast that a majority of the second round picks are going to be immediately two-way contracts. We were seeing everyone goes to the G League now in the second round because of the way the rosters are built.
Yeah, there was a weird. I think I mentioned these guys off the air in the Athletics rundown of night one. it referenced how the back half of the first round are all these kind of wild cards, grasping for guys who might not even come here. They might stay in Europe. It's like if you're looking for people to make an impact in the back half of the playoffs next spring, those guys get picked in round 2.
Yes.
Which is a weird dynamic. So in round 2, you're getting guys who are going to go on a good teams and be useful. But the back half of round 1, the more prestigious pick, are guys who you're not necessarily taking to have an immediate impact.
And a lot of this comes down to some of this goes back to that second apron and a lot of these tax implications. So if you have a first round pick and you're saying that's guaranteed money, maybe I don't want to spend that on a guy who's going to be here. Maybe I could stash that guy overseas and I could spend a second round pick on a guy who will play for me, but he's not going to be making the guaranteed salary. Or I could at least, that first round guy, I'm starting his clock a lot later. So it's very weird. It's become a lot more, some of these guys are becoming first round picks. They're becoming first round picks for odd reasons.
Yeah. Once again, why the NFL draft is awesome and the NBA draft is an afterthought. I'm sorry. It's like, what are we watching here?
Did anybody watch
the
last
drafts
night?
of my youth?
I did.
I did
Of
too.
course you did.
Yeah.
I did.
Two of you guys are easy yeses.
Well, I was doing something. It was like on in the background, but yes, I was watching. And if there would be one critique that I would give ESPN on this one, and I'm not really sure how you fix this, it was just very quiet in there. It didn't have the excitement. It was they did it in the same place they do the WNBA draft. It's like it must be it's like an auditorium-ish type of place.
It's like a theater,
Kind of, but it's in Bristol.
Yes.
And it's kind of
Oh,
cavernous.
no, it was at the Garden. It was at Barclays.
Oh, was that Barclays?
It was at Barclays.
It's kind of cavernous and it's kind of hollow. And you can the people sitting there can definitely hear what the broadcasters are saying. So I think they probably don't want to be critical. Not the year, the night you get drafted is the night to blow you up. But you can't even be like realistic.
Yeah, I even thought that round 1 was just a dud from the atmosphere. And obviously the NFL now is no longer even close to comparison with.
No, the NFL figured this out to go on location.
Yeah. But I mean, there was just nothing during round 1 where you think there'd at least be like a buzz in the room. I don't know. I don't know if it was just me, if it was just their setup, if it was about the draft. But it just was like, ugh.
Well, I got to tell you, if you thought that was boring, round 2, I thought like the side panel, it looked like they'd been up all night and not gone to sleep. Windy looked like I almost thought he was going to take a nap in the middle of that show.
Yeah. He's great, though. He's giving good information.
The
even
energy
if he's
was
tired.
so low. They looked really tired. I mean, Malika Andrews obviously had lost her voice from the night before. Yeah, I felt like Barkley at the end of All-Star Weekend with those guys.
I really wish they would dedicate just an entire team just to the NBA draft. Because like there was, and I was watching years past where it was like Reese Davis and Bill Simmons. Like it was people who weren't really maybe on ESPN's finals coverage. Like these are folks who have been grinding NBA finals, NBA playoffs. Malika Andrews hosts the NBA finals.
Yeah.
And then, we complain about, how does she forget the guy's name that got drafted by the Grizzlies and call him Colin Cowherd? It's like, well, that happens when, you got to now remember 100 players that you've probably never really studied when you've been covering the NBA playoffs, NBA finals this whole time. I kind of like, they need to have a whole different crew that was just locked in, ready to go, fresh. Like you guys are saying, it was like, a pitcher going out there for their, 8th inning of work and they're on 140 pitches. It's like, we need fresh bodies.
I was actually wondering, is ESPN going to carry the draft moving forward when the NBA sort of switches around? Is somebody else going to take this over? It's going to be ESPN.
I think they still have it, which is
they
unfortunate.
seem completely disinterested from a large, it seems
funny
like they don't care at all.
Because the NFL is such a huge deal.
Yeah.
Maybe they should try to move it to a different city. No disrespect. Obviously, we live here in New York, and so I've been to the Barclays. I've been to the draft multiple times there. Maybe it's time to give it to a city, like do it outside.
They have done it though, right? They've tried it.
Not in a while though.
Yeah.
They did that in the 90s for a little bit, but then they brought it back to New York.
I have an idea.
Like,
Madison Square Garden.
Take it to Philly. Take it to, Dallas.
No, take it to OKC. Take it to Toronto. Take it to Milwaukee.
Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland.
I mean, you have the great weather now, so it's not even like the NFL goes to Green Bay at the end of April. That's dicey. This is easy.
Yeah, also, too, the problem, the finals ended Sunday and it's Wednesday, so...
Yeah.
No time to build up the
Yeah, you
buzz.
can't market it like you can the NFL.
Honestly, they should have done it in Maine.
Yeah, that looks super fun.
And all the Cooper Flag stuff from Maine, those people would have turned out.
People?
Yeah. I read a great story about how New Balance landed Cooper Flag. Did anyone else?
No, I've been
over
interested
Nike
in that.
and I guess Under Armour. I don't know who the other two were. Adidas.
Yeah, probably Adidas.
Because New Balance is made in New England.
I have great news for, by the way, older people like Bogusch and I. I found out at Fanatics FanFest, apparently Michael Rubin and all the executives, New Balance is cool again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's part of the story.
No, what they did was they actually filmed this video of the factory workers in New England, and I think there's a factory in Maine, and it was people who he actually had a connection to who work putting the shoes together and making the shoes, and they made this incredibly heartfelt video of what Cooper Flag means to Maine and to New England, and he signed on the dotted line.
Yeah, I think it's also part of this trend. Like they're hip again. Because they got Shohei, right?
Yep.
He's New Balance, and they got Cameron Brink,
and they got me. I'm wearing them right now.
Yeah, and they have.
You've been a steady New Balance guy.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, now it's almost not cool, but it's socially acceptable. I learned that from the people Fanatics.
It's allowed.
That's accurate.
No, you're right. Yeah.
I'm wearing I'm wearing New Balance right now.
People wear New Balances now. They're not just for running.
Yeah, they're not just for dads either.
And the 50-year-olds.
Do you have any?
I do have a pair of New
Oh, you
Balances.
do? Okay.
Yes, I do. They're blue.
I feel like Adidas is now
More than
becoming the black sheep of the shoe brands, I feel like.
That's great because I'm wearing a pair of those today.
But there was that big sort of
Maggie.
Samba revival. Like
This is what
Sambas
I'm
were
wearing,
the thing
right?
like 2 years ago, right?
Who doesn't love some Sambas?
Oh, my second pair.
Now your feet are on the camera.
Oh, God, I know. It's blacked out the sun.
Email inbox. It's Maggie and Pearl at gmail.com.
It's like seeing a Yeti. The other bar is going to be 2 on the nose. Haley's Comet just flashes over the sky. I know. The Sambas make my feet look even bigger.
Wait, I have a question.
Easy now. You got to pay for the premium.
Oh, my gosh.
They're huge, everybody.
Giving them for free.
Zoom out, Kat.
This is
Zoom
free
out.
content.
Zoom out.
That's enormous.
What's
That's
the pay for that?
Shaquille O'Neal?
I got to lift up my leg with 2 hands.
How's the desk surviving this?
Oh, my goodness.
I put a dent in it.
The thump.
Wow, that really happened.
And we wonder why he needs a pill.
You're welcome, America.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
I said I didn't read those ads.
Jeez Louise.
Coming up next, we've been talking about Giannis. Let's get back to him. Maggie Perloff.
Look, isn't that Frank Thomas?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, this NASCAR preview is sponsored by WeatherGuard Truck and Van Equipment. They're just as driven as the hardworking pros they serve. Manny Tires, what do we got on tap this weekend?
Well, we got something new, you guys. The next 5 races will be part of the inaugural NASCAR In-Season Challenge, a single elimination tournament that leads to a $1 million prize. It kicks off with the Quaker State 400 available at Walmart from Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's the second race of the season down in the Peach State. Christopher Bell took his Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing to victory lane way back in February. Here's the Cup standing so far. William Byron, he sits at the top, followed by Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin. Slotted in at 4th is the aforementioned Christopher Bell, with Chase Elliott rounding out the top 5. It's the Quaker State 400 available at Walmart from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Green flag waves tomorrow, Saturday p.m. Green flag waves tomorrow, Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Fantastic.
English is difficult, man. It's my second language.
You had been flawless right there and almost nailed the dismount, but we got the information. That's the most important thing. Nice job, Manny Tires. Let's get to Giannis, Perloff, and we'll get back to our Mount Olympus, the 4 sports gods of Chicago, in just a moment. But we kind of thought the Giannis leaving Milwaukee thing had died down quite a bit. Well, maybe not the case. Let's hear from Shams Charania, the #1 NBA insider, talking last night on the draft about how Giannis is watching this draft very closely and monitoring the Bucks' every move.
I'm told Giannis Antetokounmpo is closely observing the Bucks draft here tonight and then free agency next week. And what moves can this organization make to elevate the team? They've got a bunch of free agents here. Bobby Portis, Gary Trent Jr., Brooke Lopez, Kevin Porter Jr.
It was funny because, let's hear more from Shams. Says Giannis is open-minded about the future.
Giannis Antetokounmpo has been open-minded about his best fit moving forward. He spent 12 years there. There's a level of equity there that he has in Milwaukee. But he has said publicly he wants to compete for a second championship. And so what moves can the Bucks make here in the coming weeks?
Okay, well, so a lot to unpack there with Shams and the Giannis rumors, okay? So even last night on the broadcast, they said, well, we hope Giannis isn't watching the second round of the draft and making his decision on whether or not they
Bob
take
Myers said that.
John Tanji. Like, good luck to you, Tanji. Like, everyone's counting on you. And by the way, he's got a great reputation in Wisconsin because he was playing there last year. It's like, Bogusch Markovic, like this is what he's going to make his decision on. This guy from Serbia.
I love that guy's first name.
Yeah, he was the one I think wearing the braces. Giannis, like to me, Pearl, don't you have sort of the information that you need, or do you think he really is deciding? I understand being like split or your loyalty and all of that, but you have the bad Dame Lillard injury. We understand it's going to take a while for him to come back. I understand you have other issues on the roster. Is there anything that Milwaukee can really do either in this draft or in the next couple weeks of free agency that's going to change his mind?
Oh, my God. I mean, they're a tank possible team, right? That's the weird.
If he leaves.
Even if he doesn't leave, I don't know. They can't possibly put together a major winner here, can they?
Well, I don't know. And what does Giannis want? Does he want them to bring back some of the veterans that they have on the team? Or
Even
does he feel like they can't? Yeah.
We had somebody the other day saying that they have no chance of winning with this team right now. So like the roster's gotten old and fallen apart. I'm getting all right. I'll say I'm getting a little annoyed with Giannis. I want him to be a bit more decisive. This story is dragging.
Well, to be honest, Giannis has kind of been doing this passive aggressive thing for a couple years now.
Yeah.
And he tweeted yesterday because the report came out from Shams that he's still weighing his options. And he posted, stand by. I'm just finding it right now.
Was it when he posted that he misses Woj because he doesn't like Shams?
Oh, he posted, confidence is silent. So
it's
do
funny.
with that what you will.
Has Giannis' star as a public figure faded?
Well, they've had first round exits in the playoffs the last couple of years. Is that what you mean?
I just felt like there was a TV show on Disney and he was a big topic and everything was about Giannis. And now I feel like no one talks about Giannis.
Well, he's getting a little further removed from the championship.
Yeah.
Milwaukee is a smaller market, even though they continue to make moves. I mean, it was only 2 years ago they brought Dame Lillard in. They got our guy, the spin doctor. Doc Rivers is one of their coaches. Yeah. He's one of the most well-known coaches in the NBA.
Yeah, but the market was fine when he became a superstar. I think there were 2 movies about his life. Like, he was a big deal. So it's not the market size. I think it's his game also, too. Is he taken it to the next level? Has he evolved it in any way?
Dealt with some injuries, obviously.
Yeah, it feels like, and that's the thing. Like, if he goes to San Antonio, for example, is he going to stay healthy enough to make any difference?
Well, I'm not sure about that. Nobody knows. But what his
he'll make a difference, but I still think that, I just don't think, Giannis is getting the buzz that I would expect. It's not like LeBron leaving Cleveland at all.
Well, no, but he also is not being decisive about it. LeBron, he did a TV show from a boys and girls club and became the number one villain in sports.
Yeah, that was hardly decisive, though. He easily could have handled that a different way. It felt like he decided 8 hours before.
Yeah, well, maybe, and that's how tough these decisions are. First of all, I do think if Giannis went to San Antonio, I think that's
a huge deal.
Unbelievable. That moves the markets. That's everything.
No, that is huge. But I honestly, I would watch out for Giannis's game as he ages. I'm not sure it translates. He's physical.
But he's coming off of a season where he could have been the MVP. He was great this year. He put up awesome numbers.
Giannis this year?
Yes.
Yeah, his numbers are great.
No. But how many games did the Bucks win? 48 or something?
How's
that going to get you MVP?
Well, what does it matter about how many games you win in the regular season? The Pacers were just in the 7th game of the NBA Finals. He was playing great.
Yeah, but you don't take an MVP off of a mediocre team.
He was still awesome. 888-710-4ISN. We got more about that and the 4 sports gods from Chicago next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
giant feet, they're the talk of the town. When she walks the sidewalk cracks, she's bringing buildings down. She tried to buy some shoes, but they said no way. Now she's wearing boat sails just to get through the day. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on poles, creating legs for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs, hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on puddles, creating legs for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs, hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. So here's to Maggie and her feet so grand. She's the funniest girl in all the land. With her giant feet, she's never beat. Maggie's big feet make life so sweet. Oh, Maggie's big feet make life so sweet.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Remaining. "45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Today's Mount Olympus, the four sports gods from Chicago, Illinois. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We do have some news to get to. off of the NBA draft, and we will get to the 4 sports gods of Chicago in just 1 minute. But Pearl found out yesterday that one of the big storylines coming into the draft was Ace Bailey and how he didn't work out for any teams, didn't pick up the phone, didn't do any dinners, did none of the schmoozing that you generally do in the pre-draft process. Got more from that yesterday, and Manny, let's hear from Jonathan Gavoni, who is a draft expert for ESPN, said that Ace Bailey's agent told at least one top 5 team he would not report to their facility if they drafted him.
I was told that his agent, Omar Cooper, told at least one team in the top 5 before the draft that his client will not report if they decide to draft him. Now, the Utah Jazz selected him regardless of all this.
Okay, so just a little PS to that. According to Brian Windhorst yesterday, Ace Bailey did not go directly from the draft to Utah or to his team, which is what a lot of the draft picks do. They'll literally leave that night from New York and go and be in their next city in the morning for a press conference. He didn't do that. He went home instead. Now, he doesn't have to report until Monday, so we'll see what happens over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, is he really going to play hardball here? What's the point for Ace Bailey? It's already, his fate is sealed.
Listen, we can talk about whether the draft as an exercise is unfair and suppresses guys and they should be able to go wherever they want, but that's not the conversation for today. Today is the conversation, is he actually going to try to disrupt this after he's been picked? I mean, you're right. His fate's been sealed. If you're going to try to disrupt the draft, you got to do Eli Manning here. You got to set this in stone before you get drafted. Or John Elway, you got to do this before they actually make the pick.
Yeah, I'm not even sure why this is a headline. I saw it in the Salt Lake Tribune, too. I mean, he's obviously showing up, right? There's what are his realistic options here? I'm very confident that he will be miserable and be in Utah this year.
But see, do you want a guy who is going to be miserable if he's in your city, right?
I don't care. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Jazz don't care. He didn't want to be a Sixer, and I would have taken him. But I would have taken him if he was a little more surefire. I mean, the problem is I don't think he's a guaranteed. Like, if he was a generational, obvious player who was a number 1 overall pick, then you wouldn't even hesitate, right? Like, you got to play here.
Well, but he's not that far off. I mean, at one point,
he's pretty far off.
Well, but at one point, he was thought of Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, and him as the top 3, no doubt, of this draft.
Then he got measured at 6'7.5". I know but that was a big deal.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're not going to be the next Kevin Durant at 6'7.5".
Totally fine. And Flagg was always going to be the number 1 guy in this draft. I know that. But, I can't help but think of, we're talking about Chicago today in the 4 sports gods, the book that's coming out by Seth Wickersham about Caleb Williams and how he really had this calculation to make about whether or not he wanted to try to get away from Chicago. And he said, the quote was, well, I'm not going to blow the city up because I don't want to do that. And he was reassured when he went and actually met with the Bears that they were going to have his best interest.
All before the draft.
All before the draft. But to say that Ace Bailey, well, he's definitely going to show up. It's a calculus that's obviously happening with a lot of guys. Again, we can go back to John Elway with this. But, Ace Bailey has been unconventional in how he's handled this draft from jump. So to say you definitely are sure he's going to show up on Monday, I don't know how you could say that. I mean, who knows what this guy's thinking? Who knows what his representation is thinking?
I don't know. This might burn me. I'm pretty confident he's going to show up.
Here's more from Jonathan Gavoni. Manny, can I get cut 5? So again, this is ESPN's Insider on Ace Bailey's agent. His name is Omar Cooper, declining to answer whether Bailey would report to Utah.
The big question is, are we going to see him in Utah anytime soon? I asked Omar Cooper his thoughts on his client's future in Utah, and he declined to answer those questions.
I mean, what are we doing here? You can't play hard to passive-aggressive anymore. To your point, the pick's been made. Yeah. Like, to do it now, like, why aren't they answering questions? They're unnecessarily creating a story.
Yeah, I don't, again, it will be Monday, right? So I expect them to be fully playing, what are they? Now they play 1 or 2 games, the top picks in Summer League. I fully expect them to be with the Jazz Summer League team. And yeah, I don't know. This is all going badly, but I don't see him making a stand here. Do you really think there's any chance that, like, what happens to his contract if he doesn't show up? He's just floating around?
Honestly, I have no idea. But here's the one thing. Sorry, EJ, I'll give you a sec. Here's the one thing, right? Once the pick is made, this is the time to get happy, right? This is the time to, EJ, I think you said it yesterday, fix your face.
Yes, exactly.
That Bruno Mars says.
Yeah.
this is the time where, yeah, you might be disappointed. Maybe you didn't want to go there, but you've got to change your attitude now. And clearly they're not doing that, because when an NBA insider or draft insider asks you whether or not you're going to report, the actual correct answer is not declining to give a response. The correct answer is, yeah, we couldn't be more excited. And that's not what I heard.
Yeah. I don't know. I have this weird vibe that it's all going to work out, because there's been situations like this where guys didn't want to go to places and it worked out. I mean, many, many times. I mean, nobody wants to be like, half the draft probably isn't happy with the city they went to, but they get there and they get accustomed to it. Maybe I'm way too optimistic. I think he's going to like the Jazz. I think he's going to be like, man, I didn't want to be here, but Salt Lake City, the views are great. There's a Tabernacle Choir. I don't know. He'll find, I don't know.
It's an amazing city, Pearl. And
just get out there and play some basketball, Ace. Why are you doing this?
Well,
I know your advisor seems eccentric and different than everybody, but at the end of the day, I hope and think that this might not all matter.
Say the Tabernacle Choir, 888-710-4ISN. How about the $40 million and the fact that you get to play in the NBA? I mean, I'm not just saying that you should accept it, but you're going to a place with a good owner.
Yeah.
You're going to a place with a good coach. You're going to a place where you're going to get to play lots of minutes. Like, I understand if you don't want to go to a ship that's sinking, but Utah is going to be a team on the rise now. Yeah, they were bad last year, but they've got some pieces now where you grow with the organization. Like, no one's saying that he's going to. It's not like going to Philadelphia. Who knows what's going on in Philly?
The problem with Utah, honestly, is the West. I mean, you have to grow like crazy. It's going to be hard for that team. I feel really bad for the teams at the bottom of the West. I mean, how much growth do they have to compete with? You got Dallas coming up. You got San Antonio, Houston. Obviously, the Lakers and Warriors have all the resources. If I'm Ace Bailey, I'm not sure the path to a title is there in Utah. Not now.
Well, I mean, for him to say winning is the only thing would be kind of rich. I mean, I don't think that he's really demonstrated that winning is the number one thing.
No, but you mentioned, I'm not sure where Utah is going. It is exciting. I think he's going to play. There have been other situations where guys really didn't want to go to places and they went and it worked out. So I'm confident. I think Utah made the right move. I would have drafted him too.
Okay, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Just a weird situation that keeps getting weirder. Let's get to the Mount Olympus.
It's time to feast your ears on Maggie and Perloff's Mount Olympus.
All right, Pearl, want me to go first?
Yeah, hit us.
Okay, well, Chicago, in my opinion, is an amazing sports city with 2 spots on the Mount Olympus that are absolute no-brainers, and then after that, you can get a little creative if you want to, or beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Number 1 is obviously Michael Jordan. It will always be Michael Jordan. There's nobody in our lifetimes who is going to knock Michael Jordan off this perch. We usually don't rank these. It's just for sports gods on the Mount Olympus, but if we were, Jordan would be number 1. The second is Walter Payton.
You know, for some people, Payton might be a 1A, 1B. He's pretty close.
And he just obviously is the other no-brainer on this list. Can't do a list about Chicago without sweetness on it. One of the most iconic players and iconic teams that we will ever see. And there are not any quarterbacks, really, that he has to compete with at all when you're talking about Chicago football. So Walter Payton, Michael Jordan, easy 1-2 for me. I'm going to continue with the football theme. It's not going to be a player, though. It's going to be a coach. Well, and he was a player. Mike Ditka. He's more coach to me when I think about him as a sports god, but was a great tight end in Chicago, also played for Dallas. But then the iconic coach of the 85 Bears, the sweater vest, the mustache, the hair, the glasses, the persona, the super fans, everything, and the winning, obviously, leads you to have Ditka on your Mount Olympus. And finally, I'm listening to you guys out there and gals. If somebody's Mr. Something, you put them on the list.
It's about time you listen to the audience. We're almost done with this thing.
No, we're extending it. Did you not hear me? Yeah. Mr. Cub is going to be on my Mount Olympus. Ernie Banks. He was also known as Mr. Sunshine.
How many rings does he have?
He has not only 0 rings, he has 0 playoff appearances. It's a unique place to be in where you are Hall of Famer, not necessarily known for a winner. In fact, like the opposite. But he is through and through Mr. Cub. And, you know, even though there was a team that broke the curse, I don't know who off that team would actually rise to the Mount Olympus. As a team, they do, but I don't know about any individual player. It's still Ernie Banks, and broke the color barrier of the Chicago Cubs as well. He is the fourth sports god of Chicago to me.
Yeah, I like all your picks. I think Ryan Sandberg, if you're doing another baseball player, would be not far behind that Hall of Fame second baseman. I stuck to football mostly. Michael Jordan, Walter Payton, like you had. Then I went with Gale Sayers just because he's so spectacular.
Yep.
You youngins out there, look at a YouTube video of Gale Sayers. He's one of the most talented running backs ever. His career was cut short by injuries, but he's such an iconic bear, and it feels like he qualifies as a sports god because when you watch him run, that's not mortal. Then Chicago, monsters of the Midway. Where did that all start? With Dick Butkus, toughest linebacker. I mean, Ray Nitschke's right there, but it's sort of an old school era of football. And when I think of Chicago football, I think tough guys. And I think of the city as a city of big shoulders. And Dick Butkus, even to me, a little bit more than Ditka. I mean, Ditka obviously has more fame in his post-playing career. I just say like Dick Butkus embodies everything that should be Chicago Bear football. So I gave Butkus a slight edge over your guy, Mike Ditka and the Bears.
Okay, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Now, when we did Green Bay / Milwaukee, we got a lot of flack because we did not put the iconic voice of the Brewers.
Yeah. Bob
Uecker.
Yep.
I was about to say Harry Doyle. I kept thinking Harry Doyle from Major League.
Just a bit outside.
Bob Uecker.
Just a bit outside.
And everyone hated us for it, Pearl, that we did not put Bob Uecker, who just passed away, on this list. Now, Chicago, you have a lot of athletes and coaches, and George Halas did not make this list, and so many just huge figures. Did we make a mistake by not putting Harry Carey or Hawk Harrelson on this list?
Yeah, I mean, the one for me, because the national fame will be Harry Carey. I grew up and we got WGN. I believe Harry Carey was doing that. So everybody knows Harry Carey. The Will Ferrell impersonation took it to the next level.
No doubt.
Iconic. Sitting there in the stands, drinking a beer with his shirt off. He is Mr. Cub, hysterically funny. And I don't know what was on purpose, what was inadvertent. Just one of the best of all time.
And leading the Take Me Out to the Ball game, right?
Oh,
in the seventh inning stretch, which was so iconic. Did you get to go to a Cubs game? Did Dan Patrick throw out the first pitch? And you guys got to be there?
We all sang, the five of us sang Take Me Out to the Ball game. Yeah, I think they only had 3 active mics, and I was like, that's cool. You don't need to hear me. Go out there.
They cut your mic like Yoko Ono.
McLovin in the back. Was Harry Carey there or no? Had he passed away?
No, he'd passed.
Okay. Harry Carey, obviously, I think the Will Ferrell impersonation brought it to like even bigger of a national audience, but he's such a towering figure in Chicago, you mentioned. But Hawk Harrelson maybe has one of the great all-time calls of all time. The put it on the board, that's iconic.
Yes.
It's amazing. So did we mess up here by not putting 2 famous baseball announcers on?
Well, I mean, it's a big sports city. So if I think Milwaukee's slightly smaller market, it's a big deal in Chicago. We noticed Mark Grace very popular.
Yeah, of course.
Very, very popular. You mentioned the 2016 Cubs.
Yep.
I don't even think any of them make the top 6 because Kerry Wood is also a big figure. Mark Pryor was a big figure, and Sammy Sosa was a gigantic figure.
Yeah,
I know
just
he just
got
came
welcomed back, which is cool.
But you're right. The championship team a little different. Like Joe Madden was gone almost immediately.
Yeah, I'm thinking it must like Anthony Rizzo.
I mean, you're not going to put
Chris Bryant.
Chris Bryant and Schwarber was hurt but
John
came back.
Lester.
You're going to put those guys over Sammy Sosa?
No.
I mean, Aroldis Chapman closed the game out.
Aroldis Chapman,
but he's
get out of here.
I mean, and also he was a rental.
He's been on, not even close.
Mount Olympus of deadline moves, perhaps.
Yeah, and he's not a great guy. So.
No, not in the slightest.
Oh, you know who is a baller? Lee Smith. And I know he went on to St. Louis, but when I was a little kid, Lee Smith, the reliever, man, you don't remember this guy?
Negative.
Oh, my God. He was sick. I think he was all-time save leader for a while, right?
What's so funny about Chicago, Pearl, and I'm glad you brought up the 2016 Cubs, because you break a curse, you think that will get you onto the Mount Olympus, but it is hard to find one guy from there, unless maybe Theo Epstein, because we did this in Boston where another famous curse was broken, and I did put Big Papi on the list. And you could have put a few different guys there. There were multiple options. Could have been Theo, could have been Terry Francona, Big Papi, Manny, It was just, it's funny to me that the Cubs, that is an iconic team, but I don't know who to put on, what singular guy to put on a Mount Olympus to even represent them.
Thank God I was on vacation that day you guys did Boston.
Why?
Oh, I can't stand them. Can't stand any of them. My skin just crawled when you mentioned all those guys.
Let's go to the phones. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Mike is in South Bend. Who'd we leave off, Mike?
I'm a huge Cubs fan as much as anybody, but you guys are right. It's hard to think of, besides Ernie Banks, one Cub that deserves to be on this list. But there's a White Sox that didn't get talked about who's a Hall of Famer that contributed to a ring, and it's Frank Thomas.
Yep. 16 years in Chicago. We did talk about Frank Thomas earlier in the show.
Frank Thomas?
Eugenics spokesperson at one point. But no, of course, Frank Thomas is larger than life, almost literally, and was obviously, you win the World Series in 2005, and you're a Hall of Famer, absolutely. But who do you take off? Who do you take off? Ernie Banks for Frank Thomas?
No. That's the hard part. He's like honorable mention 1A. It's tough to decide who to take off for Thomas, but I mean, he's got to be in the discussion, though, at minimum.
Mike, we all agree with you. We do. Thank you for the call. Maybe the Pope being a White Sox fan, does that bring them?
Bobby from Chicago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Obama.
Obama's a big White Sox fan. I mean, the Pope's like a different level. He's got a direct line.
To whom?
Well, it depends what you believe.
To whom with a capital W.
Right.
Frank Thomas, he was on the White Sox team that won a title, but I think he got hurt. He really wasn't. He didn't really contribute that much. I guess he technically does have a ring, maybe, but
that's why I was like thinking about him. Like, I know the year after he was gone, right?
Yes, he was gone after the year after, and he didn't play in that playoffs. I don't know if he was hurt. I don't know what happened, but he didn't do anything on that team.
He was also almost 40 by the time they actually made it to the World Series. So
you remember Frank Thomas playing for the Blue Jays, like in those weird black uniforms? It was so bizarre. There's some athletes when they play in a different uniform, and it's just like, I don't want to see it. No, Frank Thomas with the Blue Jays was just like.
Think Frank Thomas was taking eugenics when he was with the Blue Jays?
I don't know if that's on any kind of banned list. And to be fair to Frank Thomas, I mean, never a whiff with Frank Thomas, considering how big he is, and nobody ever linked him to steroids, and he was definitely playing in that era. So he deserves
those guys
to be commended for that.
Those guys who just come in and they're automatically just like huge. I think everybody's like, well, you were just big when you showed up. So I think people give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if that's fair, but he showed up and he was 6'4", 240.
Well, that's I think why Aaron Judge doesn't get any, there's no kind of, him and Giancarlo Stanton, people don't raise an eyebrow because they've always looked like this. I know. Leave Perloff.
Well, I mean, Aaron Judge, yeah. I mean, come on.
You want to say about Mike Stanton?
You say nobody raised an eyebrow about Giancarlo Stanton?
You ever seen Giancarlo Stanton with that? Mount Olympus of good-looking dudes. You ever seen that guy without a shirt?
Yeah.
You know what?
If he's not taking anything, like, dude, that guy has got good genetics.
Yeah, I think it's just a steady stream of swimsuit models that are keeping him alive.
So many muscles.
He's got muscles on his muscles.
Yeah, I know. He
makes you drool.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we all tend to like to ignore PEDs in baseball. We were talking about Sammy Sosa. We kind of secretly knew something was going on and didn't care. I think that might still be happening in modern day.
Okay.
You're casting aspersions on my captain, Aaron Judge?
I'm not saying him in particular, but there probably are sluggers out there who take PEDs and we don't even really care anymore, right?
I don't know. Guys still get popped for 82-game suspensions.
Oh, you guys are... It's 2025. You don't think you can get around the test at this point?
No, you could always get around the test.
Yeah, that's happening.
I mean, A-Rod never failed a test.
I think there's still a large chunk of baseball players who were probably taking something that is undetectable.
Well,
why would you? Minor leaguers who are desperately fighting to get the pros? Anyway, but Frank Thomas was never ripped like Giancarlo Stanton. He always kind of just big. I agree with you guys.
So I forgot that yesterday, was it Chris in Vancouver, Washington, who called to tell us what a good-looking quarterback Burt Jones was?
Yeah, he was a matinee idol.
Yeah. And then we said we would add an Adonis to our Mount Olympus.
Got an Adonis for Chicago?
Well, I'm asking you guys. The 4 sports gods is obviously the sports gods. And then who is the best-looking athlete from that city?
Gracie dated all this.
I was going to say.
The Hollywood people, yeah.
Chris Bryant was pretty good looking.
Yeah,
Chris Bryant,
he was definitely
good-looking
a
guy.
heartthrob for
all right.
Cubs fans. That's my pick, I would say.
Mark Gracie was dating Janine Turner and the famous redhead woman. Help me, Holly.
Oh, who was married to Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
From Dumb and Dumber?
I think she married Mark Grace, too.
What was her? She was such a big deal. Was she a big deal for Manny and EJ? Do you guys know who we're talking about?
No.
Who is this?
No, a redhead woman?
Did you see the movie Dumb and Dumber?
Which
yeah.
one? I think I saw the second one.
Which one?
Dumb and Dumber. I saw that one, too.
Oh, and I love sequels, and even I'm just sort of gagged at that. The original Dumb and Dumber had this very beautiful woman who was a redhead who was a thing for like 2 years.
Lauren Holly.
Lauren Holly is her name.
Nothing.
No, never
Nothing.
Didn't translate. All right.
Have you seen Dumb and Dumber?
I just asked that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I did, but not a long time. That's not like a movie that's like in my lexicon of like.
Not iconic for you.
No.
She totally disappeared. You're absolutely right, Maggie. For some reason.
She married Jim Carrey, I'm pretty sure, but I think it was pretty short-lived. Norman is in Rochester. Has got beef with us from yesterday when we did the Mount Olympus of Baltimore. I left Johnny Unitas off the list. I've been told many times that I am an idiot for doing that. But Norman, you think we left some other big titans off the list?
There were 3 superstars, contemporaries of Unitas, who were all on the 75th anniversary NFL all-time team. Ray Berry, when he retired, had all the receiving records, receptions, touchdowns, yards. Jim Parker was the first black to win the Outland Trophy, was one of the offensive linemen, and he was 57. Jim Brown was kind of gypped out of the Heisman in 56 because he was black. And then Gino Marchetti, the defensive end, he was on the Santa Clara team in 51 with Bob St. Clair and Ollie Matson that would have won the UPI AP National Championship, but they couldn't go to the Orange Bowl to play the Big 8 champion because Ollie Matson was black and they couldn't get a hotel room.
Man.
And he was a legend in Baltimore. The Gino Giant was the Big Mac is a copy of this fast food, triple decker with a. He had a chain of restaurants with Alan Amici, and he like ripped a guy's jersey in half because the guy had smeared Crisco all over his jersey. I mean, he was that strong.
that was the old school thing for guys not to be able to, grab onto each other's jerseys. I didn't know that. First of all, Norman, thank you for that. I did not know a lot of what you were talking about, but I also didn't realize that McDonald's ripped off someone else's burger.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was the way there was a handshake agreement with the brothers, and they got chipped out of billions of dollars. In the movie, I don't know, it was the founder or something. But it was called the Gino Giant. It was the same thing with the 2 15-cent patties and the little. But it was before. I'm pretty sure it was before the Big Mac, and it was the carbon copy. I don't think there was any patent infringement or anything. But
yeah, I don't actually think that you can trademark food and clothing. Is what I don't know. Norman, thank you. That was enlightening.
Oh, sure you can. There's all sorts of patents on food.
I thought that
someone who watches the history of food all the time.
No, you must be right. I guess maybe it's clothing that you can't do.
I don't know if it's a trademark, but that's a good movie. It's Michael Keaton as Ray Kroc. I think that he's absolutely right. I can't fact check everything else in that call because those are some great 50s football names.
Gino's Burgers and Chicken, it looks like, is still maybe a thing.
I think it looks like it came back. Like it was gone and now it's back, or at least it came back.
The Gino's Giant was a classic double patty burger. 2 beef patties, American cheese, lettuce, pickles, and special giant sauce, all served on a sesame seed bun. Sounds like a Big Mac.
Oh, yeah, they definitely ripped that off. That's crazy.
Yeah, of course.
When's the last time you had a Big Mac? I was thinking about this the other day.
Years.
Really?
Yeah.
Definitely at least a decade.
No kidding.
Yeah. I don't really eat McDonald's like that anymore. First of all, it's washed.
Oh.
McDonald's is washed. That's very obvious.
Listen, could be a future sponsor, so.
Oh, sorry. Then never mind. You're great.
The McMuffin will always be a part of my life.
The McGriddle.
Yeah, McMuffin's good.
Yeah, and Perloff loves McGriddles.
Oh,
I'll say this. McDonald's breakfast, not washed.
Yeah.
Definitely not washed.
Coffee good, too.
Still got fat in the coffee.
Coffee's good.
Still got the fast bowl there. The other.
Snack wrap coming back.
I got to try the new snack wrap.
July 10th.
There you go.
I know that I'm excited for.
I know we got a break, but did you see that they're expanding Frosties to put like different ingredients in?
Really? Like what?
Oreo and stuff.
Like the Blizzard.
Jeez Louise. What are we supposed to do with that?
Scrap your summer plans, everybody. Just clear your calendars.
Put the bathing suit away because you're going to have a bunch of Frosties.
Break out the two-piece, y'all.
The wetsuit. Just full
the Tom
coverage.
Brady wetsuit.
888-710-4ISN. 888-710-4476. I'll be the person with the T-shirt on in the pool if it means I can get an Oreo and a Frosty. What do we get right? What do we get wrong about the four sports gods from Chicago? It's Maggie Perloff.
Look, isn't that Frank Thomas?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Bogusch Reaves. He's got the road trip blues. Left behind, feeling like he's bound to lose. Perloff's off to San Antonio. Can't believe his eyes. But Bogusch stuck at home. His heartache amplifies. Betting against Wembyama, Perloff took the fall. But it's Bogusch left behind, feeling 10 feet tall. A loser in his own right, can't catch a break. Road trip dreams shattered, for goodness sake. For goodness sake. Bogusch counting the minutes, ticking like a clock. While Perloff's cruising highways, Hilarion talk. San Antonio shining, the city's calling their names. Bogusch sitting home, stuck playing life's cruel games. Bogusch weeps, he's got the road trip blues.
1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Getting fired up. Chicago, Mount Olympus, 4 sports gods. Welcome, Maggie and Perloff show. We are picking the 4 sports gods of Chicago. I went Walter Payton, Michael Jordan, Dick Buckus, and Gail Sayers.
It's better when the Bulls guy does it, but good attempt, Pearl. Very good attempt. Michael Jordan and Walter Payton also on my Mount Olympus.
No. Do it with some oomph here.
From
Michael
North
Jordan.
Carolina, 6'6". No,
There we go.
They do the height first. 6'6" out of North Carolina. Michael Jordan. I'm not going to do Walter Payton's height. Walter Payton on my Mount Mount Olympus, and Mike Ditka and Ernie Banks. Yes.
How tall was Ernie Banks? I don't have the slightest idea.
I can find it for you.
6 feet. I don't know.
I think Walter Payton was under 6 feet. I think he was 5'11". But anyway, that was fun.
Ernie Banks is 6'1", according to Baseball Reference.
Yeah, they used to lie about their height. I'm getting a lot of texts from friends who were big fans. I got a Fergie Jenkins and an Andre Dawson.
Yeah.
Old school Cubs. It feels like for my circle, the Cubs are a bit more popular than the White Sox. But I'm not in Chicago. I know it depends which side of the city you're from.
Yeah, definitely. I think probably, I don't know, because the White Sox have some really famous fans. So clearly it's split.
When I think of the old White Sox, I think of the night they burned all the disco records.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of an infamous feel to them. And they had those crazy uniforms. Have you guys ever seen the shorts pants?
Gosh.
And the collared shirts like Chet Lemon. And
They really tried.
Chet Lemon.
They tried to
Yeah.
innovate, and it's just like, just keep it.
that was a franchise who lost their way for a big chunk, I would say.
Giannis, Antetokounmpo.
Here's a question for you about sports gods in Chicago. So a lot of people have called about George Halas and how we didn't have Halas on the list. What do you do with Jerry Reinsdorf?
What you guys did.
Nothing.
Leave him off.
Okay, well, a lot of titles when he's winning. Now, he's been unfavorable now. I understand that.
I mean,
Because the White Sox are historically bad and because he, allowed someone to chase off Michael Jordan. But
he gets no. He
Is he
let
infamy?
Mike Jordan leave.
Oh, I guess Krause
my
isn't
God.
also making this list. Krause.
yeah, after The Last Dance,
Absolutely not.
when he got absolutely just it was a 10-hour torching by Michael Jordan.
Mikey was so mean to him.
Yeah.
This was the best. This
those
is the
short
best
pills
city
that
for
you're taking.
infamous with Bartman, Krause.
And Reinsdorf?
No, I don't know if I put Reinsdorf on there. I would put Krause first. You can't. I don't think you want both.
Okay, but
How
here's
about
the
sleepy Tony La Russa sleeping in the dugout late in his career?
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I mean, that was
was
tough.
rough.
But here's
Yeah.
the thing about he should have never come back. But that's Jerry Reinsdorf's fault.
Yeah.
Boom.
But here's the thing about Krause, and we talked about this a lot when The First Dance came out during the pandemic, talking about Michael Jordan. He also did build the teams around Michael Jordan that allowed this to happen.
It became personal with me.
And I know that Jordan would have continued to play, but I don't think Scotty was definitely not staying because they weren't paying him.
See, that's why I think Reinsdorf is more of a villain than Krause. Because Krause made moves that absolutely helped the Bulls win that dynasty. Now, if Krause didn't want to rebuild, or he wanted to rebuild, Jerry Reinsdorf should have said, all right, well, then you go. Go somewhere else, rebuild another team. Like, he should have saved him from himself, so to speak. Like, Reinsdorf not being like a strong owner there, I think, is more of the issue. Like, Krause absolutely helped build the Jordan dynasty. No question.
So here's the other part. I think that we all kind of yada over when it comes to the end of the Bulls dynasty, which is Phil Jackson was leaving. That's how it felt, at least from what Phil Jackson was saying. He felt like his message has gone as far as it could go. So there was somebody who was already going to leave.
No, I actually don't remember that.
That's not how I remember it.
Jordan was staying. Phil Jackson was going to leave.
I thought that Jackson was going to leave.
Without Michael Jordan? Phil Jackson did many qualities as a coach. The one thing that he was really good at was staying close to his super talented players.
Okay, but he also left the Lakers. I mean,
yeah, but he didn't have Michael
back.
Jordan.
We had Kobe. I mean, the closest carbon copy.
Yeah, I thought.
I don't remember that part.
Again. I thought it was more Jerry Krause was not going to extend him. He kept
saying,
he
didn't
kept saying we're going to get a new coach
Phil.
regardless of what happens this year. So that's why Phil was like, all right, well, he's not going to extend my contract, so I will be gone. But I think it was more because Krause just didn't want to negotiate with him.
See, I always thought that Jackson said after 8 years, a coach becomes stale.
He said that. I thought that was a Pat Riley quote too. But
maybe.
So I know they both have said that messages go stale. But I think at that time Jackson would have come back had they offered him a contract. I don't think Krause had wanted anything to do with him. I think Krause felt a lot. I mean, Krause was a complicated dude. I think he felt jealous of Phil because Phil got a lot of credit for like being the Zen master and getting him through those seasons.
Krause did pick Eddie Curry when those guys left.
Oh, he was a disaster when those guys
Former
left.
Nick.
Absolutely disaster.
That's not helping anything. Bogusch says headlines. What's up?
So first the left quad, now the left groin. Caitlin Clark.
Isn't that Frank Thomas?
Back out of the Indiana Fever lineup last night, and her teammates lose at home to the Sparks, 85-75. Head coach Stephanie White playing without their best player again.
We're not necessarily always reinventing the wheel, but at the same time, when you've got such a ball-dominant player like Caitlin, out of the game, who makes everybody's job a lot easier, then you've got to find ways to try to position them to get some easy ones.
And that didn't happen enough last night. The Sparks, meanwhile, got 21 points and 6 assists from Kelsey Plum. The Mystics were 94-83 winners in Vegas. That's 3 in a row for Washington. Night 2 of the NBA draft began with the Suns trading up to pick first in round 2. They took St. Joe's forward Rasheer Fleming. My Atlantic 10 also had Phoenix drafting former Dayton shooter Kobe Brea and VCU's Max Shulga going 57th to the Celtics. Altogether, 19 of the 29 players picked last night played at a mid-major at one point of their college career. Justin Tucker gets a 10-week suspension with the NFL saying he violated the league's personal conduct policy. This, of course, connecting to Tucker being accused of sexual misconduct by 16 massage therapists. Tucker can serve this punishment as a free agent if no one signs him this summer. The Mets, a 4-0 shutout of the Braves last night, leapfrogging the Phillies for first in the NL East, but they lost starter Griffin Canning to a likely torn left Achilles in the third inning. No matter what, Canning will be the third member of that rotation to go on the IL just this month. Now, yesterday afternoon, the latest big swing from Shohei.
Now the 2-2. And Ohtani swings, hits a drive, deep right center field, way back to the wall. It is gone, a home run. Shohei Ohtani, home run number 28. And the show rolls on in Denver.
That's Tim Neverett on Dodgers Radio. Ohtani going deep in support of Clayton Kershaw. 6 innings, 1 run, 2 hits, and 5 Ks, which leaves the future Hall of Famer 3 shy of 3,000.
Pitched well, got through 6, and a chance to maybe strike out 3 at home would be really cool.
Calm down, Clay. His next start should be next Wednesday at home against the White Sox.
Folks, how many?
Isn't that Frank Thomas?
How many pitchers have done that? Is that
done what?
3,000.
Yes.
No, I know.
But Perloff treats us like Google.
More than 10.
Sometimes Bogusch will come up with an answer immediately. That's rare company,
19.
though, right? That's pretty awesome. Yeah, you're right about it. It's so low key. Like Clayton Kershaw, it's hard to wrap your hand around his legacy because he's so amazing in the regular season and still up and down. But he's like, we're witnessing history, and it doesn't feel that way.
It does not.
Is it because he's been in and out of rotation so much recently? That has to be part of it.
I feel like this happens sometimes with these guys when they're breaking records at the end of their career, like when Ken Griffey was breaking records in Cincinnati, and even with Miguel Cabrera with the Tigers. Like, it's just you're injured a little bit, you're in and out of the lineup a little bit. I'm not saying they're compilers. I'm just saying it's never their prime. You're never doing this in your prime.
Gosh, I never thought of them like compilers until you just said that.
No,
I can't get it out of my head.
First out Hall of Fame.
Clayton Kershaw, you guys know who he went to high school with?
Matthew Stafford.
Never heard of that before.
Yeah.
Really?
Facts.
He confirmed it yesterday, finally.
Must have been in like Texas or something, right?
Can we do a quick tally and everyone just be responsible for your own home run derby team?
I still can't remember my three guys.
Well,
my gosh.
EJ
I know.
EJ has it somewhere.
Go check the tape.
Do
you know yours?
I do. I'd rather not talk about it because the Phillies haven't even made contact with.
That's why Perloff hasn't brought it up recently.
Well, Schwartz is still in the top 5 in home runs, but Bryce Harper has been injured, and I don't know what happened to my guy Marcell Ozuna. He's actually hitting okay. He's just not hitting a lot of homers.
Yeah, Bogusch, you have Jordan Alvarez, Pete Alonso, and Gunnar Henderson.
Okay.
Can everyone please tally up yours in the break, and then when we come back on the other side, we'll see who's leading our MLB home run derby.
Maggie must be doing well.
that's
the
what it
only
feels
reason
like.
I'm going to be honest. I have no idea, but Shohei hit another one last night, which made me think of it.
Yeah. If Maggie was in last place, any chance she brings us up today?
Nope.
We are at the halfway point of the season, so this is the right time to do it.
Oh, okay.
Baseball.
Exactly
EJ, who also
81
has a good team.
Halfway done.
EJ's got Aaron Judge, and I have Shohei, so I think we're both feeling good.
Right.
Anyway, there are 3 people on each of our home run derby teams. We're going to give you who's winning at the midway point of the season.
And Manny took Matt Olson first, right?
Yes.
Which allowed you guys to have Shohei and Aaron Judge.
Listen,
It's
I
Manny.
can't help it if Manny happened to be out late the night before.
Were you like Lawrence Taylor? Did you send like a woman to Manny's room the night before to get him ready?
Brittany with an eye.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I had too much brandy once. That was not a good.
Too much brandy with an eye. Okay, we'll do that next. Bogues, thanks so much. And coming up, more of our Mount Olympus from Chicago and your emails to maggieandperloff@gmail.com of all of our Mount Olympus selections. You guys had some big opinions. We'll do that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Manny, who is this?
Alacranes Musical.
From Chicago? It's from Chicago.
Yes, apparently, yes. They're a Mexican Duranguense band that originates from Chicago. Just found about that today. I love this song.
Chicago, it's our favorite song. Chicago music that you just found today. In honor of the Mount Olympus from Chicago, the 4 sports gods of Chicago. Quickly, though, our midway point of the Maggie Perloff Show Home Run Derby. Pearl, how many home runs is your 3-team?
44 out of Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, and Marcell Ozuna.
Okay, yeah, 3-person team, I should have said. 44? Not bad.
Yep.
EJ?
I have 59 with the team of Aaron Judge, Fernando Tatis, and Brent Rooker.
Damn, Manny.
I don't want to play anymore.
Me neither.
Soto, Olsen, and Trout have combined for 46 dingers.
Yeah, you're sad at that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait till you hear Bogusch's team. I've done the math for everybody.
Yeah, I have 29 home runs.
Oh, boy.
That's 18 from Pete Alonso, 8 from Gunnar Henderson.
8?
And Yordan Alvarez letting me and the entire greater Houston area down with just 3 home runs. He's been hurt all year.
If you would have just got Kyle Riley and just made him a one-man team, you'd be doing better.
The big dumper.
Yeah, no, I'm well aware.
And I have 57 with my combination
Size
of Shohei.
shoe. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm angry.
A 57 size shoe.
Lashing out.
Shohei, Vlad Guerrero Jr., and Ellie De La Cruz. So EJ is in the lead with me in second, Manny in third.
Wait, who's had injured players? Anybody?
Me, Manny.
I had I haven't had Bryce Harper. So
Michael
Tatis
Trout.
was gone but for a very short time. I think it was like a couple weeks.
What am I in danger of?
I mean, being voted off the island.
Oh, okay. Like all the show? I just don't want to do anything silly. I don't want to eat anything terrible or to wear a costume.
You know,
that all has to be determined in advance.
Yeah,
to be
I'll happily
fair.
like buy breakfast or
Yeah,
something.
I think the winner. I think this is more of a win. If you win something, we do something for the winner.
Okay.
So the
I
loser
refuse.
gets nothing? No
Well,
punishment?
I think I agree with Perloff. I think that would have to be determined before.
Birthday punches.
Not that I think it would have changed any of the picks, but I don't know. Maybe Manny's. But again, we know he was too
Manny was
out
hurting
there.
that day.
Yeah, to make the right picks.
Bogues, while you're back in
I was
here
wide awake.
telling us about your sorry home run derby team,
Yeah.
here's a question for the group. We'll get back to the Mount Olympus, the four sports gods of Chicago in just a moment. If you were planning the perfect summer sports day, what would that day look like? Now, this is either you can go to a sporting event, you can participate in one. Maybe you're watching your kids participate in one for
who cares?
Bogusch.
Can I just say that we're in the middle? Well, we're involved, all of us, parents and kids. 10 games in 8 days.
Ew.
About to happen right now.
We're in the middle of it. Started last Saturday and it goes through hopefully Tuesday night.
What is this? 162 game schedule?
I have a
Basically.
question. Is this Little League or is this like AAU or what is it called? Summer baseball.
This is a combination of travel baseball and also Jake playing on our neighborhood like all-star team that when he's older, this is the tournament that ends in Williamsport.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I thought Little League happened in the spring. When I was a kid.
I mean, so the Little League season is over.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
now
that's
you're,
what I thought.
Now you're,
Summer League is different.
But this is still Little League. Like this is Little League baseball run by Little League baseball, Little League rules, and it would next year leads to the Little League World Series.
The question is, if you were planning the perfect summer sports day,
Yeah.
would shuttling Jake to one of these games and being the third base coach count?
No, no. Let's just all go to an actual baseball game, one that is played well by professionals.
So the one thing, though, about having your
Are the kids
perfect
pitching?
summer sports day be going to a game, this is always the risk you take when you go to watch your favorite team. They may lose. And I don't know if you care in one of 162, but there's a possibility you leave there. Like if you went to watch the Mets last night and Griffin Canning has a torn Achilles, that's not a fun day.
No.
Meanwhile, you could play softball or watch your kid, and that's going to be fun no matter what.
It is the whole day. So I'm thinking we go to the game in the afternoon because baseball in the sun is basically always a winner. And then you go back to a house, somebody's got a pool, do your barbecuing,
Yeah.
maybe playing wiffle ball, something like that. And then you can have some fun.
Okay, so yours would be going to a professional sporting event would be your perfect summer sports day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, EJ, you said yours was playing.
Yeah. No, I'm the opposite. Like to me, because I love going to baseball games. But like you said, you don't know the result, right? I've gone to some terrible games. I've gone to games in 100-degree heat and watched the Mets lose 6-0. That's brutal. I think to me, I know I'm a New York kid, but so it's going to sound very New York, but calling 10 or 12 of your friends, going to a park, and just running full court basketball for 3-4 hours on a day that's not too hot. Okay, we're not
So
talking about
somebody
90
gonna
degrees.
die.
Yeah, no, like 80 degrees, 75 degrees.
That blacktop gets real hot.
You're already down a knee. What are you thinking here? Take it
well,
easy.
Maybe I'm a little FOMO because I'm hurt. But to me, like when I think of my favorite summer days playing involving sports, it was those days.
You want to mess around, get a triple double.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Spike Lee, Ice Cube said, right? And he said that was a good day. I agree with him.
It's the name of the song.
Full court for 3 to 4 hours is incredible.
What do you got, Manny?
Get obliterated at Billy's and then go to the Yankee game and then go back to Billy's afterwards and then get on the train, go home and sleep it all off.
By the way, Billy's is not Billy Giacalone who's sitting outside in the bullpen. That's the bar outside of Yankee Stadium. Yeah, Pro. Your perfect summer sports day. What is it?
If we're nostalgia allowed, Narberth Summer League basketball. So we had 2 or 3 big summer leagues around us. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, sun going down. Everybody moves to the court and you rotate games. And there was a water ice stand right by it. It was amazing.
Water ice.
That's when your Philadelphia accent comes out. I know you don't hear it, but just water.
Well, I know
ice.
the word water. Yeah.
Water.
I guess on to me. Mine's a little bit different than you guys. 'Cause I didn't play baseball and I didn't play basketball. Perfect summer day, late in the day, hit the tennis court, just surfing great. Everything's going in.
You played late in the day.
Love it.
Tennis is a morning sport.
For the 80-year-olds.
Yeah.
She's going to wake up in a bathtub and recover, then get to the court. She needs time.
All right, the 4 sports gods from Chicago. Who do you have? Get back to that next. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Dark horse to win the Super Bowl. That's on tap today. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Who says it's the dead time in the NFL? The NBA draft finished up last night. Never too early to pick a dark horse Super Bowl contender, Pearl, because we have a lot of really great teams in the NFL right now and a lot of up-and-coming teams that could surprise us.
Okay, define dark horse. How low do we have to go on the list?
I think you got to be outside like the top 10.
Oh, let me pull up my odds. Top 10.
Did I just surprise you with that?
Well, no, but I think top 10. Okay, let's look at the Super Bowl odds before we do this here. Top 10 means that experts in Vegas don't think they're, because I think mine's right around 10.
Yeah, mine is just a little outside of 10, but I have it. They're 11th in Super Bowl odds, and I'll just go first and take the reins here.
Yeah.
My dark horse Super Bowl contender for the upcoming season are the LA Chargers. Now, I'm going back to Jim Harbaugh when he got to the 49ers, Pearl. The first year was good as they went 13-3 in the first season. They went 11-4 the next season, but that's the year they went to the Super Bowl. He loses to his brother John with the Baltimore Ravens in that New Orleans Super Bowl. And I think year 2 for Harbaugh, Jim, that is when you really see the magic. They made the playoffs last year, as they should. I thought they were a playoff team. Suffered a devastating loss to the Houston Texans where they blew a lead. Now, overcoming chargering is not going to be easy. But the combination of Jim Harbaugh with Justin Herbert year 2, everyone's in place. They've added meaningfully to the offense. We know they're going to want to run the ball. I'm not mad at that. I think the defense is going to be maybe not 85 Bears levels. We've been talking about the Mount Olympus of sports gods from Chicago. It's not going to be even close. But I like the idea that they are going to get tested in the NFC West. And I do like the idea of a Charger team, if they have to go to Arrowhead, having the familiarity of having so much experience playing in that environment, I think could help them. The Chargers are my dark horse Super Bowl pick this year.
Go Chargers, go!
Okay. Can I pivot here? Because I had the Rams, but they're 8th in Super Bowl odds.
Okay.
I'm actually, but there's a second team who's a little bit more of a dark horse that I think if we're talking dark horse, to me, the boom or bust team in the NFL, and that's what I think you mean when you say dark horse, is the Houston Texans. Because they're down to 14th. They've gotten cold in the hype world this offseason. Partly because there was a report about C.J. Stroud having a shoulder injury. He got to minicamp and just laughed at that. He said there was nothing to that. You guys have nothing to write about. I think addition by subtraction with Houston, losing offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick is one of the biggest moves of the offseason because he drove me insane. Nobody wanted to hand the ball off more on first and second down. Gutted the offense. His blocking schemes were outright terrible. Got C.J. Stroud killed all the time. So I'm hoping that they can fix that issue where they just put C.J. Stroud in the worst positions all the time. Not just by running the ball in the wrong times, but by when they were blocking him. Like you saw the Chiefs game, like they just had the wrong guy time and time again. So I think they fixed that. Here's what makes them different. Their defense could be just absolutely killer. Not only do they have the pass rushers, Will Anderson, Rookie of the Year, and Danielle Hunter on the other side, they have the shutdown corner in Derek Stingley. When I think of great defenses of all time, that combination of elite cornerback play and a pass rush is super dangerous. And I picture the Niners under DeMeco Ryans, obviously the head coach of the Texans, knows how to coach a defense. Can't you see if you squint that defense being the thing in the AFC right now? Because defense wins titles. I do really have to squint to see this offense being elite, but I think their defense could be elite. They could be the 2019 Niners all over again. And then Nico Collins, if he gets healthy, he's a 1A receiver. I think there's just a lot of weapons, and for some reason, nobody's talking about them.
I think that there was like this hype about C.J. Stroud after the rookie season that was unmatched, right?
Yeah.
A little like what we're doing with Jaden Daniels right now.
Right.
And then it's not that he was necessarily so bad in the follow-up, but it just didn't look as good because the offensive line got hurt and because of a lot of other things. So we are kind of quick to cool on guys?
Yeah, I saw this weekend. I think it was at Fanatics Fest. Peyton Manning was going on and on about how ridiculous it was for people to say that C.J. Stroud had a down year. Dude won a playoff game.
Yeah, no, he didn't have a down year. The team,
Yeah,
though,
but he even
didn't
say
look
the
the same.
Peyton even said the team, like, they won a playoff game. He's like, when I was in my second year, I couldn't even sniff a playoff win. He said that they're way ahead of schedule, and people are. They did say he had a bad down year. That's like, I think Peyton Manning addressed it specifically. He said a lot of people thought C.J. Stroud got worse last year. He did not. He's way ahead of the game of where he should be as a young quarterback. So I think the way you win in this NFL is you build around a rookie quarterback. And, God, they have a lot of pieces there. So I think they are being slept on.
Dark Horse Super Bowl picks at 888-710-4ISN. Now, I was thinking about this as we're doing this exercise last night, and I'm like, there actually should be only one answer to this question, because there's one team that could be considered a dark horse where their quarterback, I think, is so good that they can even overcome any of the deficiencies of the team, right? And their quarterback's better than Justin Herbert and better than C.J. Stroud. Why isn't the answer to this the Bengals? Because
we all picked them to win the Super Bowl last year. Is that a dark horse?
No, you picked them to win the Super Bowl
Me and like
last year.
7 million other people.
Well, I mean, I don't know why you're bragging about it then. It's like, here's the situation.
Yeah.
You know, if you had Justin Herbert, C.J. Stroud, and Joe Burrow, and you could pick one of those quarterbacks to have be your QB. I know Burrow's got a little injury history, but so does Herbert, I guess. But wouldn't Burrow be number one out of those three guys?
Yeah, that's why they're like 7th in Super Bowl odds.
Okay, but again,
and they were just in the AFC title game 2 years ago, and they were in the Super Bowl in 2021. They don't count as a dark horse.
But who is anyone? Do you know anyone who is picking? You don't even think they're making the playoffs this year. We did this yesterday.
But I wouldn't say. I mean, they certainly have a good, but the odds are really long. I like you're not going to win any money betting on the Bengals. So no, that's not a dark horse. That's the thing, and that's why the Rams don't even count as a dark horse because Stafford already won a Super Bowl.
Right.
I think yours and mine are better. I think the Chargers is a real dark horse. Like that'd be crazy to see the Chargers in the Super Bowl. We've already seen the Joe Burrow. That's what I mean. Like it's been there, done that.
Got it. You know, at some point, the Chargers are going to overcome their chargering history, right?
Yeah.
And what better combination than Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert, right?
Well, hopefully we'll be alive. But
oh my goodness.
Yeah, you say at some point. We thought the Lions were finally going to overcome their
Stay alive.
I was thinking about the Lions. They can't count as a dark horse, obviously, because the odds are too great. But I am maybe the most fascinated by the Lions than almost any other team this year.
Ooh.
Because I'm curious, how does the loss of the coordinators, any kind of pressure on Dan Campbell, how does this impact the team that was the number one seed last year and got hurt, got decimated by injury, but then losing that home playoff game? I mean, how do you recover from that?
Well, you get Aiden Hutchinson back. I mean, that's a game changer right there. So that's one thing. I mean, you had Defensive Player of the Year. That's all I got for you, really. The other thing is you still have Jahmyr Gibbs is the most electric player in the NFL, in my opinion. I mean, the thing that's most interesting, though, that's kind of hard because you got Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. You got the Cleveland Browns quarterback battle.
Yep.
Green Bay. I think there's a lot of – I wouldn't really put the Lions are kind of a negative, though, right? Is that really interesting? It's interesting, but you're like, oh, this is a potential step back. I don't think that's as fun.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, both the coordinators, you love Ben Johnson, I know.
Yeah,
Speaking of
losing
Chicago,
Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn is awful.
I think Ben Johnson would already be on your Mount Olympus of sports gods of Chicago if, small people like Gale Sayers weren't in the way. I mean, you love Ben Johnson so much. I know you're ready to crown him. And then losing Aaron Glenn also because I think Dan Campbell does rely on those guys. Now, like any head coach does. But I think that Campbell, I wonder if a guy like that is ever going to win. Is it too risky at times with how he's calling games? And he wasn't even the play caller, but his decision making.
Listen, Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't fumble, and Josh Reynolds catches a 5-yard pass that hits him in the chest. They beat the Niners. That Jared Goff, Goff doesn't fumble last year against the Commanders, and everything goes to pot immediately in that game. So I don't know if it's just on Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's doing something right. I understand you're critical, and I am too, of the fourth down calls. I don't like it. But I think he clearly he's gotten so close with a very, very young team. To say he can't win doesn't make any sense to me because they really should have beaten the Niners that year. And yes, he had a couple couple iffy aggressive calls, but that's not, in my mind, the only reason they lost. There were like 3 plays where they just choked that away.
Yeah, but you go from NFC Championship game on the road with a 3-score lead, then you can't get any better. Number 1 seed at home facing a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels, and you blow it.
Did you, though?
Yes.
You do understand where they were.
No, I get the defense was hurt.
To say they're hurt is not.
I'm tempted to go, uh-oh.
Some breaking news.
So we interrupt this Dark Horse Super Bowl pick segment. What do you got, EJ? You got a grin on your face. I have no idea what you're about to say.
I don't want to sell it too much but like it's pretty shocking here in the NBA. Masai Ujiri out as president of the Toronto Raptors.
Whoa.
So if you're looking for a Giannis to Toronto situation, probably not happening, considering he's now gone.
I say put the glass together. Who on earth cares about that?
Well, I kind of do. I do a lot. First of all, the day whenever a team fires the GM the day after the draft.
Is that because that kid cursed when they drafted him?
He did drop a huge F-bomb right in the middle of the draft. I always think that's really surprising because if you want new leadership and new direction, why do you wait till after the draft to do it?
Maybe because that team did all the scouting and stuff. Like that happens all the time.
No,
in the
it
NFL.
does, and it never makes any sense.
Well,
to
it makes
me.
sense because they did all the work, so you can't just hire somebody 3 weeks before the draft because they don't have all. They could take the former regime's notes, but that doesn't make sense. I don't know. We were having a bizarre, free-floating conversation about Super Bowl favorites. Is that breaking news?
Shams Charania had a breaking news alert on.
I thought you were going to tell me Giannis got dealt. That's what the setup was.
Giannis adjacent, because this was one of the teams that was seen as a potential suitor, and they had been aggressively trying to trade some of their guys to make a run. And I guess that did not work because, as you can see, they haven't traded anybody yet. So now Ujiri is out. Former NBA champion Masai Ujiri.
I mean, I think it's a big deal. We thought that Toronto was going to be one of those, talking about dark horses. They were going to try to be an aggressive team, as EJ said. I don't know if the Giannis, match would have worked, but it's kind of crazy. I don't know. Where does Toronto go now? Who knows? That's tough. That's tough. Sorry, I'm just I'm mulling it now about all the dominoes that are going to fall. I was actually, here's what I was really thinking. I'm like, because they passed on Malawach, right? And
yes,
I'm like, why did they do that?
Can I be honest?
Maybe he got fired for that. I don't know.
I'm just exhausted of second-tier NBA news. Shams Charania came on. The ESPN Insider said it was going to be fireworks all offseason. And meanwhile, I get the Lakers moving up in the second round. That's like the biggest deal. Like, this has been Masai Ujiri getting fired. It is a big story. I agree with you. But come on. Where's Kevin Durant signing? Where's
he just
got traded?
Yeah, he did get traded. But where's where's the massive story? I'm thinking of Kevin Durant on July 4th. That was
a couple years
ago. I mean, we knew Kevin Durant being traded. Where's the shocker? What is happening in this offseason? I need way more.
We still have some time.
We were like 2-3 days into the offseason.
Perloff, Austin Reaves turned down a 1-year.
You guys aren't disappointed by this NBA hot stove so far?
It's been 3 days.
Yeah, so far, yeah, but it's early. I'm not freaking out yet.
We had Kevin Durant leave.
Yeah, Kevin Durant got traded, so it wasn't like we had nothing.
Well, yeah, but that was inevitable. Like that been brewing forever. So
you thought for a minute that the Celtics were going to tear it all the way down.
Oh, it was like a half. Porzingis got traded too
to Atlanta.
Drew Holiday. It's like a half tear down.
Yeah, to join Trae Young. Okay, you guys think that'll work? Go ahead, be my guest. But
no,
yeah,
nobody.
It's still big enough.
Again,
Porzingis
irrelevant. Second tier stories. You guys, I thought everybody thought this. Like, because I saw some people saying, Shams, where's the action?
Well, if Jaylen Brown still ends up somehow getting dealt, then that's a big deal.
Give me Donovan Mitchell. Give me, I don't know. I mean, Kyrie is staying, I guess. Give me something. Don't you get, well, you guys are saying it could happen next week, you think?
If free agency's going to start and off-season, that's when things will really heat up. I mean, Shams did say that. To Pearl's point, he did say around the draft, things are going to get real crazy. I don't think that's happened yet. That's obvious.
June 30th is when I believe that tampering period starts.
But, I mean, to me, this was, I don't know, you guys, this is obvious that Masai failed to get Giannis. Like, that's why he's gone. Because Windhorst, so many people were saying the Raptors are star hunting. They are going after it. And we've heard all the rumors of guys that are trying to trade Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly. and all they have is a kid dropping an F-bomb when he gets drafted, and now the next day he's fired. That to me is a clear sign of maybe Perloff's right. Maybe we're not going to get that crazy offseason while all these guys are moving.
Do you think this means Giannis is not moving at all? Because that was the Shams report yesterday. Is Giannis is still weighing his options and evaluating what the Bucks are doing. I think it's too early to tell. Maybe they told Toronto no thank you, but I don't think that means everyone stop calling the Bucks.
Well, I wonder too, like, what we've been seeing as well is that Giannis may make this decision like late in the summer, which has been a thing that was kind of crazy to me. But like maybe the Raptors ownership was like, listen, like this is going to be a thing. We have to wait another 2 months. Like the only reason why we want you here is because your relationship with Giannis.
Right,
like,
right.
If we don't know in 2-3 months if he's going to be here, we're not going to waste our time. Let's just like move on and just go through a different path. You already didn't get us Kevin Durant. That was your first job. Failed at that. So now Giannis, I'm going to wait 2 months to see if you can get him. I don't. That could have been why he's out.
Interesting. All right, well, that's the breaking news. Masai Ujiri is out with the Toronto Raptors. 888-710-4ISN. I know we're on in Toronto. 888-710-4476. Curious how shocked the Raptors fans are. Meanwhile, Big Friendly on the opposite coast in California. Hey, Big Friendly. How you doing, pal?
Good morning, Maggie Malone, EJ the EP, Daddy Lukewarm, 411, Manny De Niro. Good morning, and thank you for taking my call.
What's on your mind, partner?
And real quick, before I give you my 4, I want to clear up 2 things. I've had some people in the chat saying that Manny doesn't need my advice. I would agree. Manny, you have my utmost confidence that you could turn up the Latino heat and melt any woman's heart. All I'm trying to do as a veterano is give my mijo much advice as possible. And I got the perfect date for you next week. And Daddy Lukewarm, the number 1 golden rule in dating advice: never take dating advice from anybody married or in a long-term committed relationship.
Yeah, that's a good.
Big Friendly is a free.
It's very true.
Big Friendly is a free agent, and yes, at this point in my career, I load manage. But every city is hoping I suit up and play ball when I roll into town.
There you go. Never know who's watching it for the first time.
You're like kind of an older Kevin Durant. Is that what you're saying?
After I ruined a great relationship around 34, 35, I just realized a 10-day contract is a lot easier to manage than just signing the deal. I've seen women.
Friendly, wait, have you gotten the update from Manny?
Yes, I have. And so my thing with Manny was it was a progression. Hey, man, this is how you attract women. If you have someone in mind, do this. And the date I got is for anybody, but this date, Manny, has never got Big Friendly a negative mark.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this, don't let Perloff say nothing. I just recently stopped working in bars 2 years ago. So my roster has ladies from the early 20s to the 50s. I got veterans and youngsters on my roster, and it works for all of them.
What are you, Belichick?
No, it's just, once again, Maggie Malone, a pot of orcas can't do as much damage as Big Friendly when I'm on the hunt.
Wow. So wait, you're talking about 10-day contracts, 2-way contracts, any 3-way contracts, Big Friendly?
Oh yeah, hey, you know what? This is a PG-13 show, so I can't get into the contracts and the tryouts I've had. But trust and believe, they've been very vigorous and a lot of sweating.
Wow. Okay, so what's the date? You're saying you have advice for Manny on the date he should take his new, what are we calling this? His new situationship.
I'm gonna see. I told EJ yesterday, and I called late. Every time you guys bring up an irrelevant team, I'm writing a poem. And Maggie, I've already started your poem for the Bills to put them in extinction.
Hey.
Daddy cool, I'm going to clip your Eagles' wings. I already wrote one for the Raiders, and I know P. Maddie's waiting. So I'm going to give that with you guys next week when I give Manny the perfect date. But this is for all you guys. You need to spice up your life. You know, Big Friendly's trying to help everybody have that ghost pepper with not so much kick in their life.
No, well, we're living vicariously through Manny, so this works.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're not getting the date advice today because I don't know, Manny, when's the next time you're going back upstate?
Who knows?
You got to get that on the books, dude.
Well, David, give me some more vacation time.
Man, Willie, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to throw this out real quick. I'll give you my 4 and I'll grab you the date. So my 4 for Chicago, I'm going to go with Ryan Sandberg.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Walter Payton. I'm going to go with Brian Piccolo. And is that not his name?
No, it is Brian's song.
Brian's
right?
song, amazing.
Yeah. Okay. You laughed at me. Okay. And I'm gonna go with the great Harry Carey as my fourth.
Okay, Big Friendly, you realize that you are leaving Michael Jordan off your list of sports gods in Chicago, right?
You understand I'm a Los Angeles Lakers fan, and Magic Johnson got 4 championships, and Kobe's got 5. I don't care about Michael Jordan. He took a ring from Magic.
All right. Sorry, the only reason I was laughing about Brian Piccolo is because everyone remembers the movie Brian song, right? Is this really sad?
I had Gail Sayers on there.
Yeah,
so
right.
Thank you.
Their relation, their friendship, and I know somebody who ended up watching that at a birthday party one time, like a birthday sleepover.
Yeah.
Their mom got them Brian's song. It's a funny story from a friend of mine. It's his story, not
That's
mine.
was not really funny. He cried at his birthday party. But
it was
funny
a
in the sense it
disaster.
was, yeah.
Like, why would they do that? Why
Exactly.
Did they watch that movie?
Again, it's not my story. It's someone else's. All right, Big Friendly, where should Manny take his situationship on a date?
Manny, here it is, man. And I think they're called down comforters, the ones with the goose feathers.
Oh, boy.
This is what you want to do, Manny. I got you. And this is for everybody. It's not just for you, but I'm going to tell you how to get it. Now, it's a picnic, but scrap it. This is what you want to do. You want to take your girl out to like dancing or a movie. Now, you make some food she likes. Put it in a heat bag in your trunk. Keep her away from your trunk. Put the down comforter, put the food you make and some drinks in the trunk. Take her dancing. Take her out to a movie. You need a night where the moon is bright. You're going to take her on a moonlit picnic. Manny, I'm undefeated in this date. Listen, when you get her out there and you lay down that comforter and you put that food out you made for her and you got something to drink, there's nobody around but beautiful you and a beautiful moon shining down on you. And remember something. Just because they say someone's looking, they kind of like that, Manny. Trust me.
You had me
They
till
might
that
catch
last
us.
little
They
bit.
won't catch us.
My issue.
They might catch us. You get the
the
someone may
danger
catch
of
us.
it. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm trying to be as politically correct as possible. Forgive me, but there's a little bit of that. You're in a situation where, once again, I'm a hopeless romantic, Manny. So I like the candlelit dinners, the long moonlit walks, the making breakfast in bed, the things that other men don't do. Go that extra mile, and I got to get back to work. Have a great weekend.
Big Friendly, awesome advice.
My issue is the down comforter. Like, I would definitely bring a polyester blanket outside. Like, that's like, you're not going to waste a down comforter on grass.
I've seen women.
Yeah.
But I don't know, are you in the grass or are you actually in the back? You're in the trunk of the car?
I would probably bring it out onto the grass.
Out of the grass. Okay, so
That wasn't in car, right? Like, you don't need to.
for a second, I was like thinking, I'm like, it's like a Jeep and like the trunk's open and you're kind of like
That's a
looking out into the
Jeep.
sunset.
How am I going to get a car out there? I need to rent a car. You got some money for Enterprise, lady?
Yeah, Jeep, that is not comfortable.
Probably not. I'm sorry. I've ruined the image.
Can I just say real quick?
The grass at Elmwood Park. That's comfortable.
When I was in high school, I got to drive my mom's minivan, and everybody was saying, everyone's like, whoa, you must get a lot of action in the backseat of that. I'm like, nope.
In the back of the town and country?
Yeah, it was
Wood
no, it
paneling?
was like a Plymouth Voyager. I don't even remember what it was. No, it was a Ford Aerostar. Do you guys remember that car? I think it still exists. Yeah, and they're like, whoa, you have a lot of room back there, if you know what I mean. I'm like, I know what you mean, and trust me, there's nothing but groceries back there.
Perloff driving a minivan is just a really funny image.
Yeah, no, it happened.
Got a lot of room back there, Perloff. Oh, yeah, a lot of pick and pop practice back there.
Oh, yeah, this is an interesting van.
All right, so
Watching the
Manny,
pictures now.
you've got your marching orders here from Big Friendly, which is a moonlit picnic. It's pretty good, dude.
Yeah, no, the moonlit picnic. He took some circles to get to there, but yeah, no, the moonlit picnic is definitely a good idea.
Hold on, big question we never asked you. So you met somebody that you kind of like, and it's very early, so we're not going to blow you up here on the air. But did you take Big Friendly's other advice, which was wearing cologne and letting her smell you?
No, because we were at a lake house the entire time, so all I smelled like was sunscreen and the bug repellent. So I mean, no,
Sexy combo.
Did not exactly. So I actually smelled like garbage and got a phone number. So that's nice.
Yeah, you smelled like the great outdoors.
Yeah, who doesn't love that?
That's pretty good.
So the only place you can go is up now. Like if she loved you, she liked you at that point. Now it's just
if I put on some cologne and actually wear clothes,
it's money.
Big Friendly's not wrong on this stuff.
Manny Wapo.
All right, coming up.
You want to
Pearl,
go where the women are.
you've got a story for us that I cannot wait to hear.
Another car story.
Your day got totally hijacked, no pun intended, yesterday. And we also have more of your sports gods from Chicago.
Ian smelling range.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Maggie's rolling down the highway, feeling kinda rough. Last night's dinner, fighting back, oh man, it's getting tough. She grips her wheel, but it's too late, oh no, here it comes. Her Yeti Angel's holding water, now it's holding chunks. Oh, Maggie's puking in her car. Yeti bottle's gone too far. Her toothbrush ain't gonna make it through. Perloff's calling hazmat, man, it's true. She stumbles into the studio, trying to play it cool. Perloff takes one whiff and screams, this ain't in my job rules. He's climbing on the desk, he's spraying Lysol in the air. Since I need a full decontamination, get me out of here. Oh, Maggie's puking in her car. Yeti bottles, a biohazard scar. Toothbrush soaked in bleach all night. Perloff's in a hazmat suit and fright. Audio, he still ain't here. Probably at home, drinking a beer. WN's in a toxic state, but he's still on vacation, must be fake.
This is Maggie Gray with the Sports Minute, sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
after night with fire in his voice and truth in his mic.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Getting a little emotional here. You may know this song from Karate Kid 2. George Cetera, I want to say, former lead singer of Chicago, broke out on his own in 1985. Came out with this banger.
Gloria Love.
Peter Cetera. Who did I say? Greg Calcaterra.
Greg Calcaterra.
We're doing Chicago Mount Olympus, 4 sports gods from Chicago, and we had an impossible job picking music because there's so many great acts from Chicago, Maggie.
Man, I gotta be honest. Yes, I agree with everything you said. My blind spot is big on this sequel. I never saw the Karate Kid 2, and I love sequels.
I just remember there's a scene in Japan where it's raining. I think this is from the sequel. Yeah. No, you're not missing anything.
Okay.
By the way, you know what I think of music? A few things jump to mind for Chicago. The movie The Blues Brothers.
Yep.
Harry Carey singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game, and Eddie Vedder singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game and doing all sorts of Cubs songs.
Oh, can I give you another one that you're missing? Donkashane from the movie
that's a good one.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yep.
I love that movie.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Young Matthew Broderick.
I feel like Eddie Vedder deserves a shout out because he loves his Chicago sports.
He was born in Chicago, despite the fact that he moved to San Diego early on in his life.
The Mount Olympus of athletes from Chicago, or sports figures from Chicago, we should say. You know what I actually thought about when I think about Chicago sports?
Hey, everybody, Ron Harper slipped on orange soda.
Bill Murray and Eddie Vedder. I was thinking about their most famous sports fans. Like in New York, we thought about Spike Lee and others. Jack Nicholson for LA, and for the Lakers, I think of Bill Murray 100% when I think of Chicago sports.
I think I really identified, but Chance the Rapper really feels to embrace Chicago too.
No doubt.
And also because then I think of Obama. I think his dad worked for Obama, right? My wife grew up on the south side of Chicago. Grew up right near the White Sox, and it was a bit of a crazy place back then. She tells the story, but so we have a lot of connections to Chicago. Oh, I know we're running out of time. I got a car yesterday.
I'm so excited for you. This has been behind the scenes, something that has really been on your mind for the last couple weeks.
My old car ran into a lot of problems. Instead of putting more money into it, I bought a new one. And I was worried yesterday that, hey, I can't negotiate. These are tough guys, Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. But I went out there. I think I held my own. You know what? I didn't have any extra fancy add-ons. I was pretending I knew what I was doing. And I asked the sales guy afterwards to evaluate me as a customer. Like, how'd I do? Obviously. And
as you gave him $75,000.
Yeah, we have sound of here is his review of Andrew Perloff as a car customer. All right, I'm here with Christo from Bay Ridge Honda.
Just close it.
How did I do as a customer?
It was a pleasure working with Andrew. He was a great negotiator. My only thing is, why did Maggie pick Steve Eiserman over Gordie Howe?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, beats me.
Yeah. It's weird. It was like a big topic of conversation in the Honda dealership.
Amazing.
The guy's name is Mr. Hockey. We had 6 people were saying that. Then the guy came in from the repair shop. He's like, now tell me about this Johnny Unitas thing. Don't ask me.
They didn't want to take up by Gary Payton on the Portland Mount Olympus. Oh man, I guess I'm infamous.
No, because they knew Gary Payton does deserve on a Mount Olympus, just not that city or the other city. There's 2 other cities, Oakland.
Eiserman over Gordie Howe.
I tried to rectify that today. That's funny. I picked Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks, on my Chicago Mount Olympus. I'm not making that mistake again.
I did. They were great, by the way. I'm giving them a free ad there, but they were great. You know what? I have a new functional car, but then I drove it back, and I'm like, this thing is going to get destroyed in Brooklyn. So I hate having a new car. I was more happy with my old car.
It's always nerve-wracking when you get a new car and they drive it off the lot, and you're like, every pothole, every rock in the road that you go over.
I thought I was going to get in 3 wrecks on a 20-minute ride home. I almost totaled my new car, and I'm afraid to drive it.
Did you drive it to work today or take an Uber?
I took an Uber.
You don't want to let that thing out of the shop quite yet, or out of the garage.
No, it is. It's also, there were some color conversations that didn't go my way. The wife and I had a disagreement.
Oh, no.
What happened?
I wanted black. She wanted this. I will only describe it as off gray color.
Was there a reason?
Yes, she doesn't like black. My wife had 7 injuries. She got kicked by a horse. Yeah. No, she thinks a black car is, I don't know, it's just a little too intense.
Huh. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you're happy with what happened. Did you really try to go in there and be like, what does this say, V8? Like, how did you pretend to
How many
have
vroom
confidence?
vrooms does one have?
How do you pretend to have confidence at a car dealership?
Here's the other thing, too. I had the same car. So I'm doing the test drive and he's explaining all the features. He's like, yeah, I know. Then I started explaining the other features to him because he didn't know the car that well. I'm like, yeah, because this is my current car. Kind of stunk.
When you said no bells and whistles, like, what do you have? Like, roll down windows now? Or
Oh, can you imagine?
No, well, you know how it is.
Crank
Like,
windows?
There's a $10,000 range of which car you buy. But it does have a sunroof, which is pretty interesting.
Oh, nice.
Is that really that nice? though?
Yes, I have one. It's great.
What was your non-negotiables?
in there.
My non-negotiables, my wife said it can't be a white car. I don't know why.
But off gray is okay.
My wife will not have leather seats.
It gets hot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, she finds it gross. That's pretty much my only non-negotiable. Do you have a non-negotiable? I wish you told me before. I would have gone in there and played some hardball.
No, I know. My mom once bought a car just based off the cup holder situation.
Nice.
Okay.
Good. That's
Yeah, I
always
like
a good
that.
idea.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty easy.
How many cup holders did the thing have? Like 20 of them?
Yeah, I mean, she likes to drink coffee just like out of a coffee mug.
Evidently.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you picture me opening the hood and be like, "Hey, we got a V8 to get forward."
Kick the tires a couple times.
I mean, this guy was definitely taking pity on me. It's like, all right, this man. I mean, listen. Let's be honest.
You can definitely fit in the trunk. Get right in.
It's not like there are a lot of. Not a lot of gearheads or motorheads would be like shopping for Honda Accords.
You're at a disadvantage the moment you walk in.
Yeah. Like the word functional came up a lot more than muscle or.
You want safety.
Yeah. Oh, there's this blindside warning that's outstanding.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Need that for New York or anywhere.
Yeah, they've done all these fancy things with cars.
The best is the camera to back up.
Oh,
how did we
dude.
live with that
my
before?
goodness.
We were just backing out of parking spots, just totally blind.
Well,
back
you
in
know,
the day.
the best to me, like the most important thing is when I switch cars to get your phone connected to the car. Because I don't know, like before 2015, my last car did not do that. So I had to plug it in. And do you remember those days? Those dark days?
I do. I saw someone drive the other day with the phone up to their ear, and I was like, that is old
Not
school.
allowed.
Yeah.
That's old school.
That's illegal.
Well, and that too. Bogusch, what else is going on?
A little breaking news, I guess, from the NBA. A Friday news dump. The Raptors are parting ways with longtime president Masai Ujiri. That's from Shams, and it says that Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment wasn't going to sign Ujiri to an extension, so they're breaking up now with 1 year left on his current deal. This, of course, comes the morning after the NBA draft concluded. The Raptors did make a pick in round 2, taking Florida guard Elijah Martin. You guys are scrambling back there. You're making me nervous.
I'm
just trying to finish up my work over here.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, good.
Yeah, just doing some social media stuff.
Okay. It's like maybe pick up my phone to make sure I didn't get fooled by a Shams Charania.
No, Shams.
Oh, yeah. No.
Just straight up sham Charania.
Yeah.
It's so close.
Shams Charania has not tweeted. You did not get,
Because they also
pickled
took
or
the
anything.
graphic off TV, which is where I saw it first, which that scared me as well here as I was sitting here reading it. And Maggie didn't say there's breaking NBA news to get to.
Oh, we did break
Well, we broke
first.
it, yeah.
I
the
know,
first
it just
segment.
still threw me off.
You're good, honey. You're good.
You must have
no NBA Sentinel here. You're good.
You must have anxiety dreams about fake Twitter accounts getting you all screwed up for your
I think he
updates.
just has anxiety,
Yeah.
period.
Well, yes, and it's usually just about not being here.
Yeah.
It's like not waking up. It's not. It's like
okay.
missing the train. It's more just like locational issues.
I do have anxiety issues because the 3 times a month that I send you a Shams Charania report. You guys are like, oh, look, old man gets fooled by the internet again. When you all do it.
Yeah, well,
I don't care what age you are. You're getting faked out by the internet.
You got me yesterday because you like revived a previous fake about Thurl Bailey being Ace Bailey's dad.
Yeah.
And then I was
actually waiting to get Maggie on that one, and then you fell hook, line, and sinker.
I was only half listening. It's like, yeah, I remember hearing that, but it doesn't come up that often because it's
nobody
not
would
real.
mention he went to Utah and Thurl Bailey does color there. Like, that wouldn't be a thing. And then Ace Bailey doesn't want to go there. You actually bought that?
Because I think I fell for it once before. Somebody referencing it.
After he said that, I meant to check. Thurl Bailey is not related to Ace Bailey, right? He can't be.
No.
He better not be now.
Yeah. Because Ace Bailey won't go to Utah, and Thurl Bailey's like Mr. Utah. Manny, you don't remember. He was a stretch 4 from the 80s.
Take you very much.
Yeah.
And that's the first name of
Stretch 4 in the 80s?
Yeah, I think he's a color commentator for the Jazz.
Stretch 4 in the 80s?
Yeah, he was 6'4".
Yeah, he was like a original.
He's 6'4", 175.
It wasn't plumbers and firemen. It was the 80s.
Yeah, it was Magic Johnson.
I think he was on the NC State team that beat Hakeem, right? Thurl Bailey?
Ooh, he definitely went to NC State.
He was right after that.
He was near there, yeah.
Yeah. I think he was a freshman on that team. Double check.
Well, not the problem, but the situation now with any draft pick, we just assume that their parents were All-Americans at the very least. Have you seen that? It's like, well, the mom was an All-American volleyball player.
Cooper Flagg's mom is the basketball connection.
Yep.
There's multiple moms of draft picks in this NBA wherein there are like Hall of Fames, college and others. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, a bunch. And Thurl Bailey did play on the 83 NC State team that won the national title.
Yeah, is he still?
He's the best player.
Isn't it funny that his name is Bailey, then Ace Bailey will be there? I think Thurl Bailey's still doing games. I don't know. Anyone else into this?
Well, it's not really that uncommon of a last name.
George Bailey from It's a Wonderful Life.
That's some lineage.
I don't know. I think this could be a storyline, Mag. Watch out for this one.
All right.
I got to make sure that Thurl Bailey's still working in the market.
I'm more a Toby Bailey guy.
I just want to reiterate, when I brought up that Stephon Diggs took Cardi B to a castle, I was laughed out of the room.
Yeah,
but we can do George Bailey now from It's a Wonderful Life with Ace Bailey, and everyone's like, that's a fun topic.
No. Your problem there was the bar was set so high from the first.
Oh, yacht?
Yeah, the yacht story that the castle barely even made a ripple.
And then you both
was getting old down here.
Everyone was ripping castles because of holes in the floor.
Well, it's like basically a porta potty too. It's not even
crocodiles in there. In there.
I even gave you good sound.
It's in there.
It is a good story.
I mean, Cardi B's royalty of a certain type.
It should be
a real castle.
Most of their day, most of the
All
room
right.
should be filmed so we
I'll
can watch
admit,
them be in a castle.
With the sound, it's growing on me. I will probably think about this weekend. I'll probably tell somebody. You know, Cardi B said there were real crocodiles in there.
In the moat. And now there's just a pink dusting of all this beautiful furniture.
Who knows? Who knows? Bogues, I think that's where we got to leave it.
Yeah, whatever. Mets won last night, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Boo.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, we see
Did
you
the
guys
Phillies
on the
win?
phones. The Mount
did not.
Olympus. It's four sports gods from Chicago. We get back to that next.
Why did Maggie pick Steve Yzerman over Gordie Howe?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
If you are what you say you are, a superstar, then how
Honoring music from Chicago today because we're doing the Mount Olympus of Chicago, the four sports gods. This is Lupe Fiasco. Okay, Chris is in Lexington, Kentucky. We'll get back to the sports gods. It says here on the screen that you have Mount Olympus, Chicago, and Hotties.
Yeah. So, Maggie Perloff, awesome show. I want to piggyback off what you guys were talking about yesterday about the Mount Olympus of, like, best-looking male athletes. And so I got to pondering yesterday, and I was like, okay, I got to call again today. I think, I'm sorry, when I watch men athletes perform at their sport, I want to see them hit 70-foot or 500-foot home runs and, throw the ball 70 yards down the field. I'm not looking at how their mustache looks. So, with that being said, I think if we're going to throw this bracket in, Maggie, as you said, I think we should have the best all-time female-looking athletes of all time.
I know. It's funny. We thought about that, Chris, and we're like, are we going to get fired for that? Are we not going to get fired? Unfortunately, I think there might be a double standard there, but go ahead.
All right. So my four, I fell in love with this woman when I was 14 years old.
watching the Winter Olympics with my parents in '84. East German figure skater Katharina Witt. I still will follow her just the beauty and elegance. Number 2, Argentinian Gabriela Sabatini, great tennis player from the 80s and 90s. Anna Kournikova, wasn't known for her winning, but known for a lot of other things. I'll leave it at that. And my 4th, Gabriela Reaves, famous women's volleyball player. Not only beautiful, all 4 of them were just great athletes as well. So,
yeah, Chris, that's a solid list. I mean, married to Laird Hamilton, right? I think Gabby Reaves and Laird, the famous surfer, are still married. Well, yeah, Chris, it was a great call yesterday. We are going to add not only the sports gods, but then the Adonis, the best-looking person from that city as well, which could be male or female.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's called Instagram now, where you get to see a lot of these people. I don't know, Manny, you're an expert on this.
Chicago athletes that are good looking?
No, hot women athletes.
Yeah, we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that as another
fired.
time.
I just got this job.
Yeah.
Just to recap, Mount Olympus for me for Chicago and Perloff. We both have Michael Jordan and Walter Payton. Got to have both of those. It's non-negotiable. I went with Mike Ditka and Ernie Banks.
Yeah, I went also with Walter Payton and Michael Jordan, obviously. Then I went with Gail Sayers and Dick Butkus.
So as we mentioned, this has been a really fun thing that we've done now for the last couple weeks, all these sports gods from these great sports cities. So we heard from you, we're not ignoring it, about all the other cities that you want us to do. So we'll announce right now that next week this is going to continue not in this order, but the next 4 cities we're going to do before July 4th break. Denver.
Yes.
Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Wow.
St. Louis.
Okay.
And Toronto.
I can't believe we haven't done some of these. These are big, big sports cities.
We heard you guys, and we don't want to shortchange anyone or any city. So again, we were going to end it today with Chicago, but instead now we're going to expand it for the next, through up until the July 4th weekend. There you go. Dominic is in San Francisco. Dominic, hit us off. What do you got?
Hi, thanks for taking my call. Maggie, I'm with you. If you got a moniker of Mr. Baseball, then Ernie Banks is definitely on there. Michael Jordan, Walter Payton, and from the original 6, Bobby Hull. Manny, get ready to throw rocks at the album covers for the Ohio players when I'm ready for you. The music was really, really tough. And again, I'm throwing out the proverbial tides, not to use like a bucket full of metaphors and hyperbole, but Chicago naturally. But then right there has to be Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just so much. What about like the old school blues stuff?
Old school blues stuff is cool, but you got to narrow it down, which brings us to the hottie. And this is the standard by which others are judged. Everything else is a distant second. And when I mean distant, I mean like from here to the sun. Pre-augmentation, drum roll please, for Miss Raquel Welch. Bring up
where we're going with that.
Bring up that poster from 1 million years BC, that 1960s movie.
Yeah.
That fur bikini was bought right off the rack.
Dominic, she's not an athlete, though.
So what? That's none of my hobbies have been athletes.
Dom, you're the best. Thank you for that, weighing in every day.
I just saw that was the poster at the end of Shawshank Redemption that the warden throws the rock through is Raquel Welch from that movie. I just happened to watch it again on cable. That kind of aged Dom a little bit to go Raquel Welch is the hottie.
A couple things from the email at maggieandperloff@gmail.com. Jeff writing in, Butkus, Banks, Hull, and Jordan, but Stan Mikita might be there too, and Wayne's World, the movie, gave that a boost. And actually just saw someone wearing a Stan Mikita's Donuts shirt the other day. Tom, very upset that Johnny Unitas was not on Mount Olympus, saying that there is not only the statue of Johnny outside the Ravens Stadium, and everyone rubs his foot that walks past it going in for good luck. He attended many Ravens games, and he passed away. They had his shoes and a spot on the sideline. I want to thank Rick and Tom, Kevin, Don, and someone named Dick Pitchfork, who's been emailing Maggie and Perloff at gmail.com, and Matt, who said we missed John Chaney with Philly. Thank you, E.J. Stewart, Amanda Rodriguez, Bogusch Kaplan.
You're in a 5-minute break.